Okay, welcome to our FootyCast with Nirmal and special guests Jules and Ola.
Yes.
And we're going to discuss the transfers in the closed season and what we think our teams will do, and we'll tell you who. Well, you can guess who sports one team, but the more
it's clear.
Yeah, we will discuss our teams as well,
Yeah, of
and
course.
then what we think where teams will finish and stuff, and maybe some of the teams that are competitors. Okie dokie. So Ola, shall we start with
Arsenal?
Yes.
Yes, let's go.
They were close.
Yeah. Unfortunately, last season was still a bit rough, but you know what? I'm not even that disappointed. You know, listen, I would have loved to win.
Yeah,
the
I
league.
can see by the look on your face.
I know. No, you know what? I would have loved to win the league, of course, because we were so close. But we didn't expect that at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Getting there was like,
I don't think anybody expected you to be there.
Exactly. So we know we have improved. If we win the league, it would have been the best thing to ever happen. But I understand the fact that we came up against a very, very strong, experienced, just machine of a team in City.
Come on, Everton aren't that good. I know we beat you at Everton.
No, it was. Listen, it was obviously it was close. But if we're gonna lose to anybody, it was always gonna be City. But there was that little hope that just close. Just
how close you got was a bit of a surprise to
Surprise
everybody.
to everybody, right?
Especially, I would have said it was a surprise, isn't it?
Yeah,
that they were
I'd have thought so. I mean, you did have a good season, but I did warn you though. I did tell you that you were going to fall away at the end because you're coming up against such they're an animal. When it comes to the end of the season, especially, I kept saying.
Man City start like slowly, but their slowly is still very good.
Exactly.
And then they just get better as the season goes along. They're just 2 seasons. I mean, obviously your team knows. So
I mean, I can attest to it.
you can attest to how good they are. And you really, really gave it a go and still lost.
I mean, to be fair, Liverpool pushing City for 5 years and winning it once. It's poor-ish.
Shots fired.
No, it's not short. It's
okay.
You've pushed them for 5 years and won it once. Yeah. We've pushed them once. So if we can win it
as
this
a team
season,
that wasn't
right.
close, I think they did quite well to win it, to be honest. And I'm an Everton fan, so me saying that is quite hard. But
exactly.
The thing is, how good City are. I think any team that wins it, like if you'd have won it last season, it's a phenomenal achievement.
Yeah.
But just knowing what City do, I think we all knew that they were going to pull something out the bag. And to be honest, last season they had a phenomenal season.
Yeah.
Did a phenomenal side, and they added Erling Haaland, who's a phenomenal player.
Absolutely.
So it's like it was going to be difficult for everybody else.
The running games as well, the last 8 games. I mean, they win, is it 13 games? Unbeaten.
But that's what they do.
It's just what Man City do.
It just seems unfair.
It's what they do.
Well, the problem is the second team is probably good enough to win the league, and the first team is, and that's the difficulty between them and every other club is that it's the squad, and I think the fact that Arsenal pushed them and then Liverpool have pushed them before, I think it's testament because neither teams, there's no other squad apart from maybe Man United in terms of how much they've spent, not in terms of what quality they bought. And we can talk about them later. I don't think it's any of the squad that pushed them. Maybe Chelsea now, but even then, look at what they've spent and they still didn't do.
No, Chelsea won't be ready this year.
First of all, I feel Chelsea's 3 years away from doing something. I really do.
I don't think they're a team. I think they've just bought a lot of players.
Bunch of players, and they need They need a couple of seasons to absolutely gel together for them to challenge the league. Listen, with Pep there, it's difficult for you to I don't even know how to say it anymore. Because I was convinced in January that we were going to win the league.
See, that's too early though.
First of all, you can never say it's too early when you're chasing the league. You can never you're a Liverpool fan,
but Man City are they're so good.
Do you feel like that when Liverpool were chasing Man City or they were going for the league? Do you feel like that in January?
The only time I felt that way was when we won it because we made them give it up because we were 20 odd points ahead, and I feel as though
they essentially stopped focusing on it.
You need to make them give it up.
If they've got a hope,
exactly. As long as they're within touching distance, they're an animal. When it comes to March, April time. They just go into.
They've got that thing of getting it's like I think a lot of the continental teams. So they get ready for the Champions League, isn't it? And that was their main aim. And they just build up and better. And all the players like De Bruyne and all seem to come alive. Ilkay Gundogan was fantastic near the end of the season, and all the Bernardo Silva. I mean, you could name all of them, innit? And Haaland, to be fair, he scored a load of goals. I don't think he had that great a season if you take out the goals, because he was still getting used to the league and stuff,
especially the first bit of the season. He was still adapting, and the team was still adapting around him.
It's just the rest of them are that good.
Yeah. But in the second half of the season, he came into his own, and the team started playing for him, and that was when he still
it was the running that, like I say, that I didn't think they were that great come to January. February.
You were in a fantastic position. Then he played Everton. That was the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what destroyed your confidence, because you were like, if the team that should go down is beating us.
You know what? It wasn't Everton. Yeah, I feel like Arsenal was on the. Listen, as soon as we lost Saliba, problem appears everywhere. Odin was not up to scratch. Let's face it. It's not. Defender.
Well, no, I think Arsenal were good. It's just Man City were that much better. And the thing is, you weren't quite, your squad wasn't there, because you had a couple of injuries, you got a couple of all the player dips in form. And they're only young players.
Saliba got injured. The defense was leaking.
But that happens to every team.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Apart from, even Man City, but they don't, because they can fix it.
Man City dealt with it, and Liverpool, when they were having those lovely few seasons or whatever, it's the fact that their backup is quite decent.
Well, I think Liverpool dealt with it. They didn't get that many injuries.
They didn't. You're right.
Especially the year we won it, we got lucky.
Yeah.
But then every time we've had a big injury, that's it. The season just derailed.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by the squad. It's that the fact that
the depth.
When you've had that chance where you've had about a year and a half where you had that phenomenal run, was because you had your first team pretty much. Obviously, he was doing a little bit of rotation, but you've got enough players to cover 2 or 3 players.
Yeah.
They was just cycling around. They were that good that then you're a match for Man City.
That's it.
Yeah.
But the problem is, as soon as you get one injury, to key player, and then the second player goes out in the same position, and then you can't afford to have that many people that are. You can't afford to have like 4 world-class centre backs sat on. I think 2, maybe 3, and then one you're still going to be a bit less, and then there's a drop off, and then people's teams sniff it, and
that's exactly what happened.
But Man City can.
Exactly. Yeah. They can afford to lose De Bruyne, for example. He can be out for 2 months?
I think they planned the season without De Bruyne, and he's like the
so,
clean
because by the time he come into its own, it almost like they are just literally nearly touching the top of the league, and he just kind of get them there, and
it's
go
like
ahead
the
and
turbo
win
boost, isn't it? At the end of the season, let's wind up.
And also, remember, he let Cancelo go. He was
everybody thought that's going to be a big
that
drop.
was it. I thought so as well. I was like,
I thought that was your chance.
Yeah.
Surely,
any team that can afford to let him go and still go on and win a treble with half the season to go, it's unbelievable. It's unreal.
They are phenomenal, isn't it? And I think, but I think that's the target, innit? And I think Arsenal, when we can come to transfers. You've done a bit of business. Do you think that's helped you close the gap?
Yeah, I think so.
So who have you got?
Timber.
Defender. He was playing in the Champions Shield.
And obviously Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Yes. He's done some good business, because I was a little bit with Declan Rice. Like I'm not 100% on board, but I've seen him play a couple of games pre-season, and so it looks sharp, it looks ready, it looks hungry, and his positioning is good as well. So hopefully it will be a better replacement for Xhaka.
I think as a player he's really good. I think the thing with your Manar is the price, but you have to pay it to get the players, and that's the only problem. And we don't know how they've structured it. They may structure it in a really good way, where we go, well, actually, it's 100 million or whatever it was, 105, but they've done it over their spacing or their contract and stuff, so it's not a huge burden. And then they've still bought I thought they'd stop there, but they've still bought the players, haven't they?
Yeah,
and they're still bidding.
They bought
the
right
second
back,
goalkeeper as well.
The second goalkeeper as well. I feel the only one signing
significantly strengthened the squad.
Yeah, the only one signing that was a little bit baffling, is Kai. I don't like he plays.
Okay.
The way he plays.
I was trying to think of who he's saying.
Kai.
I was thinking, I've got Timber. Kai.
So
it's his mate.
we're very tight.
He's Instagramming him this, isn't it?
So I mean, he plays where Odegaard. His favorite position is where Odegaard plays. They're not gonna drop Odegaard for him. So which means they're gonna have to either play him out of position to benefit the team somehow. I don't fancy him.
Do you think he's bought him as cover? But obviously he's expensive cover.
Or
like a plan B. Change the way you play, because he's obviously he can play number 9 as a I hate to say he's a number 9 because he's not a number 9.
He's not a number
nine.
He can play in the forward position as
It's
a false 9.
Right, exactly, false 9.
But he's got a bit of height and he's got a little bit of niggliness, so he can cause a bit of trouble for the centre backs. He's not afraid to have a physical battle.
Yeah. The problem is that you've got someone like that, and you've got Smith Rowe, which I really, really like. He's a fantastic
good
player.
player.
But he was injured like throughout last season, like a lot of the 70% of the season. It was out.
Yeah.
We've got someone like that. We've got Kai. We've got Odegaard. Those three, they play similar position. Maybe Smith Rowe can play a little bit on the wide.
Well, he can
I don't
play
fancy
I've seen him
there.
play in the wings.
I don't really fancy him
I think
there.
that's
I
more
like
his
a
cover,
quick,
isn't it?
quick, winger and
So
such.
Martinelli style.
Yeah, Martinelli, exactly. And so, I mean, again, they've strengthened. It looks good on paper. And against Man City the other day, it looks like it's a good, solid team. I really, really like Timber. I think
Timber was really good. He stopped a few of the attacks,
I think
didn't he?
it is gonna be a surprise package for the season. He's really good.
But you know what? I'd have a question mark is: do you think you've brought in any difference makers? The squad's better. They've got numbers.
Good point.
But have you closed the gap enough? And for me, I think
we've closed the gap enough.
But
we might not be
the difference maker though, because I think in order to close that gap, City are so good. They're up here. You guys were there. Have you closed the gap to where?
I think so.
Okay, who's the difference maker?
I think with Rice coming in is a better replacement of Xhaka.
Okay.
I fancy the only problem, well, I don't want to say it's a problem, let me not jinx the team, is Partey. There's no real cover for Partey, which means Declan Rice is going to have to fill into that holding midfield, which can be a lot, because I feel like it goes on adventure a lot. It can just wander off. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, it can run with the ball
sense.
and move as well, isn't it? But you do need them cover, because if you get broken on, then obviously
Exactly. So
turnovers.
that's good that we have those players, but I would have liked to have some sort of maybe 20, 21-year-old, the Southampton guy, Romeo.
Or
Lavia.
And also with Partey, is he going to
for
stay?
him?
Because there's rumours that
He will stay.
Or,
Yeah, but he's not going to go. Not at this point. If he was going to go, it was going to be earlier
on in the
window.
Liverpool
Bring
replacement.
somebody in. He's not going to go now, definitely. But I just feel like, if it doesn't get injured, we look solid. We look.
Well, I think you've closed the gap a bit. I don't think you've closed it completely. I think it's got closer.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
your squad is better.
Yeah.
Because I think the difference player there is only Declan Rice is an upgrade, and I think on the thing, I think Havertz is more like a different way of playing, or give you some options.
I think so
I don't
as
think
well.
he's an improvement to the squad. I don't think he's an improvement to the first 11.
But then Adi Sanen's going to really make that bigger difference.
There isn't any Kevin De Bruyne or Erling Haaland.
To where you close the gap, but are you going to overtake Man City? These players, from in my opinion,
I feel
they're
like
not
Man
good enough
City
to
is
where you
weakened
can-
from last season as well.
But they're still
I
in
don't think
business.
what.
City are back in the market now. They're looking to do things and
Well,
move
have
bits.
they closed the what's his name? Josko Gvardiol.
Yeah,
deal?
he signed.
Oh, is he signed?
And they're looking at some guy from West Ham. We were talking about.
The Brazilian guy. I can't remember his name now.
I can't remember his name, but it's big money. 70. I think the first bid got
They've
rejected.
bid 70 million and it was rejected by West Ham. And
They've got money.
yeah, I don't
They
think
haven't really. I heard Maguire rumours, but they haven't really spent, have they? Because they've got the Declan
Arsenal
Rice money.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think Maguire is gonna go to West Ham, and what's his name? McTominay. He's gonna go to West Ham as well.
They
Both
signed
of
someone
them.
else. They signed some guy from Ajax, some striker.
Yeah. No, is he a striker?
I think he's a striker. Yeah. What's his name?
Yeah,
Alvarez.
Alvarez, that's it.
From Ajax.
Yeah.
So they've done a bit of business, so they've spent a bit of money.
I fancy West Ham, if they get the players they're linked with, I fancy them to be in top 10. Top 10, easy.
It's whether
Not struggle to get in top 10.
I've got question marks over Moyes, because at the end of last season, fair enough, he won that trophy and stuff, but I think if they start off a bit dodgy, the crowd is going to turn on them, because...
Well, I think there's already. I was reading some of the things. There's already people turning on him, like
they're not fully
Moyes
on board,
out,
are they? You know?
because
That's
they haven't
football,
bought
isn't
anybody.
it?
Yeah.
Well, that was before Maguire and McTominay and
I think
the
only team that you don't get turned on when you have a couple of bad results is City. That's
Well,
the
this is
only
before he
team.
started the season because they haven't bought any players.
Yeah, true.
West Ham, the Moyes is always this. He's always going to drag it out. He's not going to get relegated because he's got that a bit about him,
He's
knows
got
how to
the
play it, he's
know-how,
been there, he's got the experience.
He's got the experience.
They'll play reasonable. He never plays really great football, but
Yeah.
it's good football. It's not, usually if he's got the players.
Yeah.
The only thing I can see is whoever they buy, they're going to be weakened compared to last season because they ain't going to replace Declan Rice adequately.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've lost their
but
best
equal.
player. Essentially, they've lost their
They've
best
lost
player.
the best player, and he was the difference between them being like the lower end and
Yeah.
the clubs around him because they had one really good player.
And I think with West Ham, that's a good point you made there. The style of play, the West Ham faithful, they've got this thing, the West Ham way, whatever that is.
Well, yeah.
He's
Well,
never
you always
going to
used to have
deliver
like
that.
the creative players,
Yeah.
and he's not that.
He's
And I
not
think
going to
that's why they
deliver.
don't take to him.
That's what I'm saying. So,
It was why I didn't really want him back at Everton because again, it's that
that's it.
little bit. It's not that you'll be okay, you'll be
Yeah.
challenging, but you don't ever win. And I'm really happy he has won a trophy.
yeah.
But like that was the reason I didn't want him back at Everton.
Yeah.
And usually when you return, it's never as good
It's
unless
never- yeah.
they're
I
mean,
really special.
One player they've signed as well. Again, it might not be Declan Rice's level. Is Ward Prowse.
Ward-Prowse.
Again,
Oh, they've signed?
That's a good
Yeah,
signing. Yeah.
I
That's a
feel
good
like
signing.
Yeah.
that is it's not.
That is
they're not going to be
a
as
little bit of a
wicked
changing
as we
signing
think.
and a
Yeah.
game-changing signing
Yeah.
because it gives them somebody who can win them games.
Yeah.
He can take the free
Especially
kicks.
for
He
the
can,
way
Exactly.
they play. The set pieces.
Yeah,
He's going to
and,
buy
and
a
he
lot.
plays in the same position as Declan. So I'm guessing he's going to come straight into the team, slot right into
well, he's a
that
different
position.
player, but yeah. But between him and McTominay, you can do the same job because McTominay's got that bit. He has got the legs and energy.
Yeah, but
he hasn't got the
Ward-Prowse
creativity.
got goals in
But
him.
Ward-Prowse has got
He
the he's got the
goals in him,
creativity.
and McTominay
he's a
doesn't
massive
They
have
work
that
well
much
together,
goals.
can't they?
No, then they haven't done too badly. They hadn't. I think this was before they'd bought anybody or beat anybody who'd been announced.
Yeah.
So if they've bought a few players, he is always good, Moyes. He's not gonna, like I said, he's
Yeah.
never bad.
He's capable. He's
he
a
managed to
capable
do
manager.
great things at Everton with
Yeah.
nothing. He's never going to win anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Although he's done that at West Ham, so he can't say that. But
Yeah.
it's that trophy that I don't even know
Yeah.
what it is. But Mourinho won it, so we got to give him some credit.
There you
He's
go.
the first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But touching on Arsenal, so do we think they've closed the gap enough, or I think it'll be closer? And by the way, how many points did you finish behind City? Because
I
Wasn't that
think
many?
it's 8.
no, there was.
Oh, there was?
What is it?
They fell away in the end. So this
Where is
idea
it?
that they pushed them, we were talking about
What-
this before.
yeah,
It
what
was 8
is-
points, weren't it?
There you go.
So when you finish 8 points behind
Is it 8 points though?
the champions,
I'm
I mean, we
trying
can
to-
look it up.
Yeah.
But if it is 8
Go on,
points,
carry on. I want
Yeah.
self-
if
I
it's
know.
8 points, right? Would you really say the last 5 games of the season became a non-event?
First
Because
of all,
you guys
8 points
fell away?
means 2 losses and maybe a couple of draws.
Exactly.
That's 4 games that changed the season.
No.
5 points.
Was it 5 points? Okay.
89 for Man City
Okay.
and 84.
So
Because they
5
won their
points.
last game, didn't they? So they pulled it back in.
Couple
3
of,
points.
yeah.
couple
It
of
was
ga-
8 points behind.
Couple
and
of
then
draws
they
and a loss.
Yeah.
But that's basically because Man City lost the last game. Didn't really. They drew and they lost because they'd already won the league.
So they were
isn't it?
saving themselves for the Champions final.
And
Well,
you won
you-
your last game to pull 3
So,
points
I
back.
feel like you're throwing all these excuses around.
It's
and
not
all
an
that.
excuse.
Well, no,
It sounds like that.
it's
Now
not an
you're saying
excuse.
that they lost this game
No.
because they don't care or they
No.
they're already preparing themselves for the
Well,
final.
I think what Jules is saying is that realistically it was about an 8-point gap.
Exactly.
Which is probably about the difference between Man City
So,
and you. That's
we-
pretty.
we
But I
have
wouldn't.
to-
I wouldn't feel bad about that. I think that's pretty good. If you're
I don't
only
think-
8 points away from Man City,
I don't feel
that's
bad.
a good go.
I
From
don't-
where they came from.
Because you were still like nearly 10 points ahead of Man United, who were in third. You were
What-
9 points ahead of Man United.
What about Liverpool?
Okay, we're not talking about Liverpool.
Teams out the top 4 we don't count. Is it? So Newcastle was 71, so
Yeah.
you were 13 points ahead of them, and you
Yeah.
were 9 points ahead of Man United, which I think that is a good. And if you look at, you've won 26 games, drew 6, and then is 6 losses. So yeah, it's a pretty good achievement.
Yeah,
I
but
think
this is the thing, yeah. Are we closer to Man City? Yes.
that was my
As
point.
people behind us, are they closer to us? Because those are that can be a problematic as well, isn't it? Because
Well, you got to think Man United won the last
you,
4 games, isn't it? And that's how they caught
Yeah.
up, and then that's the point. And if you even those things out, then you were closer to Man City than the rest were close to you. So that's
you
a good
go.
achievement.
Yeah. No,
And I think you're going to be better. But the thing is, I think if Man United have signed a few players, they're going to be much better.
I don't think so.
They will be better. They will push
I mean, we
more.
have to see this. Is it Asda Haaland or what's his name?
As the Haaland.
He's full of jokes, isn't he?
We're not supposed to promote companies
Exactly.
yet,
Yeah.
unless they sponsor it.
That's it.
What's the guy's name?
Other supermarkets are
The
available.
striker.
Supermarkets.
The striker that United just got. Listen.
Veghorst, I think, or something like that.
Yeah. So basically, we haven't seen this guy in action. Yeah, I've seen a couple of games that he's in. He didn't score in Champions League or not. He didn't score nothing yet. So I'm not really worried.
Oh, you mean
about them.
Rasmussen or whatever is Hoyland?
Hoyland, that's it.
That's the
Hoyland.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not very.
Have any of you seen him play?
I've seen him play.
I've watched
Last season
Atalanta,
in
but I
Europe.
can't remember his
I
name.
can't remember him. Yeah.
I know the name, but I can't remember
But this
seeing
is
him
the
play.
thing, it didn't just become something that European teams wants to go after. They've been watching him. Arsenal were
I'm just
they
gonna
were
bring up
linked
who
with him or whatever. Saying that Arsenal tried to. Well, again during the window, how many players have been linked with Liverpool?
But then I do think, if we touch on United, I think with the year under his belt, the manager, I think he's going to put together a better season because he's a good coach. Right?
When did he start managing United?
Start of last season. So he's had the year under his belt. He's making his own signings, the goalkeeper, style of play and all this stuff. So I think they'll be better than they were last year. So automatically, they're going to be in a conversation.
They'll be better. What makes you think they'll be better? I want you to break that down for me. Because they've let players... Well, they're going to let players go. They've let players go. Go on.
Yeah, but these are players that didn't fit the manager's style of play. So he's bringing in players that suit the way he wants to play.
So if he's doing that now, wouldn't you think that, okay, surely he's going to need at least a season to get this player gelling together?
I mean, I'm not putting United in the... Are they going to, contest for the title? They're not there, but within the top four, they'll sort of be there and have probably a bigger say than they did last year. So if you're talking about how many points you finished above them, I'd say they'll probably close the gap closer to you than you'll probably will to Man City.
They will be challenging top four.
That is
unless they do something really crazy.
outrageous statement.
No, they will.
That is outrageous statement.
That
is not even close at all. What are you talking about?
We're not even predicting who's going to finish where, but I think...
You feel like United are closer to Arsenal than Arsenal is to City.
Yes.
What is he talking about?
It's my take. It's my opinion.
I would agree with that as well.
I'd say
What?
So. I'd say so.
No, not a chance. Not a chance. I'll tell you this.
No, I think Hughes have closed the gap on Man City, but not closed the gap completely. I think you've got closer.
I don't think we are there.
I think the gap is smaller
down last season.
And I think Man United will be better than the seasons they've been because, like you said, Erik ten Hag's had time to be there, and he get his feet on the table, assess the squad because really last season he was just assessing the squad. They had the whole Ronaldo thing which sort of overshadowed everything. Now that he's got rid of a few of the players he's got, because I think just looking at this, they've got about 6 players on the way out, although he hasn't confirmed Harry Maguire and thingy yet.
So we know Maguire's gonna go.
Yeah.
McTominay,
Fred is saying as well,
and few players that was on loan they've gone. So.
It's not that easy to find a list. I was trying to find just who's come in and out, and it's like there's an article in one of these. It tells you all about it, but they've named none of the players. I'm like, there's 3 players in, 6 players out.
The thing is, right? You have to look at United's defense as well. Yeah, they're not very strong defensively. Yeah, I feel like there's been an improvement up front. You thinking that United are stronger than they're closer to Arsenal than Arsenal is to City is an outrageous statement simply because United and they need strengthening where I think they need strengthening.
The only reason why I say that though is because I think Arsenal overperformed last year. So I feel as though you're going to be pulled into the pack as opposed to chase City down because City won the league in 4th gear. They could have won it by
89 points for them is low.
But they could have won it by 95.
Yeah, that's their normal average score.
But they took the foot off the gas because they didn't need to. They didn't.
No,
if you're honest.
No, listen.
We've heard about Johnny Evans. They've got Johnny Evans, and obviously they're going to be challenging for the title.
So that's.
No, so Rasmus Højlund. So he's from Atalanta, 65 million, 65 million, isn't he? So the Danish young. So, but I think they're buying him to develop. So he isn't going to be. We don't know how he's going to perform because he hasn't been in the Premier League. He isn't hugely established. Although Atalanta were quite good. Mason Mount obviously is an established Premier League player. What do you think of him going to there? And why Chelsea selling him? And 2, why do you think he's gone? Why Man United bought him? Because it's a bit confusing to me, that one.
I don't know why Chelsea sold him. I think obviously they have to sell him because he told them he's not signing a new extension or whatnot. Yeah, so they try to get some money off him. Yeah, listen, Mount at Chelsea, I feel like it's a better fit for him. That it could have been if they could have convinced him to stay, it could have been perfect for Chelsea simply because is a kind of player that Chelsea are trying to get. It's literally his position is where Caicedo. If they can get him, it's gonna go straight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, Mount, because we were linked with Mount, and then United sort of come in, and for me, I was underwhelmed when Liverpool were being linked to Mount, and it wasn't just me, our fan base. When you went online and stuff.
I think if you look at like Jordan Henderson,
yeah,
he is that sort of energetic player, but he's got a bit more. He's probably got not as much defensively, but he's got a bit more offensively.
A bit more flair, maybe.
Yeah.
But then...
And he has got the energy.
He has.
Which is what
maybe he would have fitted
likes.
in our system.
That wasn't the only midfielder you were linked with.
But
the greatest midfielder that Liverpool were convinced that is coming. It's Jude, isn't it?
It is. Do you know...
That was. I'm sorry, but that was funny, because this guy told me that it's done deal.
Do you know what?
No need to talk about it. It's done deal. End of the season, he's gonna put pen to paper, and that is gonna be done. Until he put the pen to paper, fortunately, it wasn't for Reds. It was in Spain, Real Madrid.
We did have this conversation, and I did tell you the only club he's going to go to is Real Madrid.
Of course, Liverpool. Like you've hit the nail on the head earlier on today by saying that the owner are stuck in the past where they managed to get players like Salah, absolutely gem, player Mane, absolutely gem for under 40 million each. They're still thinking 45 million can trap a quality player. Absolutely not a chance.
No, you can, but you've got to get him at the right point. But if Bellingham, everybody knew about, and then he's done it. And I think Real Madrid already knew that they'd already made the overtures.
If Real Madrid didn't come through, PSG was lurking. Because
I think there's a lot of other clubs. PSG probably with what the issues they've had now, but I think if they'd have done that on the time, if Real Madrid were like no, I think PSG would have come in, and then Mbappe probably wouldn't have had his troubles now because he'd be like, we're signing a quality player.
See, I don't think Bellingham would have gone to France, me personally. I think it was either going to be Madrid or City, or if we were still doing big things, maybe Liverpool. But he doesn't strike me as the player that would go to that sort of.
If I was him, I would have gone to. I think I said this to you before when we'd spoken off camera. If I was him, I'd go to Real Madrid because just look at the squad and the team and the manager. It makes sense for him. And I think the problem he's going to have is if he comes to the Premier League, the amount of attention he's going to have will ruin both his quality of his play for England and what he's going to do for his club.
Absolutely.
And if he has an issue, that's going to be. It's all going to be all the time. Whereas now he's out of sight, out of mind. But he turns up for the odd tournament for England.
But that's it.
But then like people are a bit surprised by what they see. But all the journalists aren't on top of him.
Yeah, and also you kind of forget how young he is. You know, he's got time. If he wants to
come
to England,
and
he can come later on.
And I think that's what I said. Once he's 26, 27, 28, I think that's when he'll probably come. And play for a Premier League side, whichever one it is. I mean, the only thing I thought Man City was because Haaland's there, and obviously that's his mate. But I think that one's probably going to work the other way because I think Haaland in a season or two will be end up at Real Madrid.
Real Madrid as well, isn't it?
I mean, I think they probably would have done this season, but I think they thought that Benzema was going to do an extra season.
He
and
only
then
signed
next season
3-year contracts, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, Haaland.
Okay, we'll have and at that point we'll have a little pause and then we'll come back. Okay, so after our brief pause, welcome back and we'll get back into it. So I think we were discussing Mason Mount.
Yeah. I was asking him that, like, obviously, Mount was linked to with Liverpool as well. Yeah, would you have been chuffed if you managed to trap him?
Like I said, I think he would have fitted well into our system. The only thing that I say would have underwhelmed me personally, it's if we would have brought him in as one of our marquee signings. So you bring him in as the big guy for the summer. For me, I don't think he fits that bill. He's a good player. He'll come in and do a job, kind of like what Milner used to do. But to bring him in as one of the stars of midfield,
what Milner used to do,
probably.
I think you're not rating him enough.
In a system how Klopp plays, I don't think he's got enough quality to stand out. He'll be sort of working hard, pressing, doing all that. Maybe
do you like him at Chelsea?
Getting you your goal. I don't rate him as highly as, like you said, the wages he's on. The price that he's gone for, I don't think he warrants that. It's sort of that the English tax because he's an English player, plays for the national team. He goes for a bit too much money. But as far as, I rate him as a 7 out of 10. You know, he does a job. He's a good player. But is he, again, a difference maker? For me, for what we need, I was a bit like, I'm not sure. Personally, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Just reading it here, and I don't know, it's true. It looks like Liverpool have outbid Chelsea for Moises Caicedo. And that's why Chelsea bid for the Romeo.
Lavia, yeah.
Lavia.
Ooh,
That's why they've increased their bid but they are saying that it looks like he prefers Caicedo prefers a move to Chelsea, although I don't know what that's backed up by.
I think I read it this morning that he preferred Chelsea.
See, I think there's a bit of a game going on between Chelsea and ourselves, because I think so. Last night, Chelsea went in for Lavia, I'm thinking, okay, so does that mean that they've abandoned Caicedo? Lo and behold, the following day, all of a sudden, Liverpool have contacted Brighton and they've put in a bid. So I'm just thinking, who's going for who? I'm not too sure who wants who and who's really going for who. Do you know what I mean?
I say to you, exactly what you just said now, which is Liverpool find out. Chelsea find out Liverpool have been in contact and they went in for Romeo. Yeah, I think so.
I think there's a bit for tit for tat going on, isn't
exactly.
there? Which we don't know which one side's winning, but they're playing, and I don't think either club can buy both of them. So it's going to be like they'll go for one. Well, but we're doing Liverpool, isn't it? So should we go through Liverpool's purchases? So there's Alexis McAllister, who had a fantastic World Cup, Argentinian midfielder,
and I think that
Brighton player.
Yeah.
I think 42 million is
42
million is a good business.
Yeah, I think that was his release clause, isn't it? They just trigger it and just went through this.
Yeah.
24 years old, he says. So I think that's good money for a good player.
That's a good buy. And you bring in the age down, because I think last year, what thing that killed us? In the middle of the park, we were so old and so...
With Klopp's style,
Yeah.
you've got to have energy. That's why I think even like Mason Mount was one they looked at just for the energy.
Yeah.
And he can handle the ball. He's got energy. He can move it fast. He's he's mobile.
He's the right profile. I'm not
he's
saying
the right
he's not.
profile.
And then who else?
And probably why you're looking at Caicedo. And,
I mean he'd be amazing.
Lavia, isn't it? Because they're both
Caicedo.
If we could get
top
Caicedo,
4 is guaranteed. I think.
And so they're still in progress. It's just the latest news. I think I've just told you off camera, but on camera it is that they're looking at. It looks like Liverpool have sort of hopped over Chelsea for Caicedo, and Chelsea have hopped over Liverpool for Lavia.
Yeah.
So
I mean, how that unfolds, it's a bit. I don't know what's going on there, but
well, I think the good part is if you get one or other, that's great. I mean, if I was you, I'm a Caicedo fan, so I think Caicedo would be the numero uno.
Yeah.
How old is Lavia?
He's only 19.
Yeah, I mean, they're both 19 and 21.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
I think he's more for development, and he's a good player.
Exactly, but Caicedo's more ready.
Caicedo's ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, if you get Caicedo and McAllister, obviously they already know how to play with each other.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've got our man Dominic
Soboslai, I believe.
I'm glad you said that. 70 million though from Leipzig, 22-year-old. He's attacking midfielder, isn't he?
He's meant to be a really good player. For me, he's a bit of an unknown quantity, but he's meant to be a really good player.
I've seen a bit of him in the Champions League.
As a Liverpool player, yes, but prior, I can't say that I've watched him enough to.
I've seen a bit of him, but I wouldn't have said like 70 million worth. But then the problem is Leipzig know as well, and those clubs, Red Bull and that, know how to make a bit of money. They're like Brighton as well.
Exactly.
So you seem to be funding these clubs that are like to sell on the players.
Yeah.
He's a good player. I've seen him play. I think didn't he score a goal in the World Cup as well? Which country?
Yeah, I mean he's 22. He's Hungary captain as well, being so young.
Yeah, Hungary.
So he's the right profile.
I think he did, didn't he? Or Euros or whatever. He scored a goal.
22. Yeah.
We'll see him against Chelsea, eh?
I'm looking forward to that game actually.
As well.
And then you have actually got a few others, but I didn't know. Sepp Vandenberg, was he loaned out? Is he one of your players loaned out, or is that somebody it says end of loan?
I think that's a loanee coming back.
Okay. Calvin Ramsey, right back. That's one of your kids, isn't it? Gone to Preston to 20.
Yeah.
And Reece Williams was just he was at Aberdeen or whatever, wasn't he? Yeah. So that's it. So you're still waiting on some. I think it'd be fair to say.
If Caicedo, if that pulls through, is that it? Or is there income?
For me, if you got Caicedo, that would be good for the middle of the park. But also, there's a bit of concern at the back also. Because especially with this new system that he's trying to employ, the likes of Matip, he's too slow. So
do you think Van Dijk is still 2 years Van Dijk? Or do you feel like it's lost a yard of pace?
I think since the injury, he's still coming back, because he came back, played the full season non-stop. We got to the Champions League final, and then he came back. There was a World Cup as well. So I feel as though he's not had enough time to recover, because it normally takes a year for the player to sort of come back anywhere
Recover.
near. Look, you don't ever make a full recovery, but to come back anywhere near your best,
A year.
it's an ACL. It's going to take you a long time.
Yeah, but a year.
Of course. If you look at it,
Am I hearing this? If it's taking you a year to recover, mate, you might as well just quit football.
not to regain your full sharpness to what you were before the injury.
So what's the training for? That's what the training is for, isn't it?
But that's what it takes. So
Well, I understand. There's been people that's damaged their
Look,
ACL.
he's not an Arsenal player where they recover it in a day.
I know, it's like that.
We don't care about recovery.
Exactly.
What
So I think-
recovery? What's that thing? We don't know what
No,
that is.
with Van Dijk, I think there's a bit of, especially from rival fans, saying, "Oh, he's done, he's finished." I don't think he's personally.
We not rival.
Okay, I'm not even going to entertain her. But from other fans, there's this clamour, "Oh, Van Dijk is not the same player he was."
Yeah, but it is. What, you bought him 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Or 4 years? Is it 4 years ago? Something like that. So you didn't buy him at 21.
No, of course.
I'm
yeah.
expect he's older. He's lost
No,
the
they
yard or
bought him as
two.
the ready-made product.
No, of course.
And then, but he has improved a little bit. I think
Yeah.
the other, it's not just the recovery from injury. I think it's both that teams work people out, isn't it? How they play,
course.
and I think it's not so much him. I think with not having the midfield cover,
Exactly.
the defenders
He's
have
more
had to do more
exposed to
work.
attack.
That's what I was going to say.
Whereas,
Yeah, of course.
like, because in a one-on-one and a thing, he's a pretty good player because
Yeah, of
he's
course.
got the pace, he's got
Yeah.
the strength, he's got the sort of height as well, isn't it?
Mm.
And he's pretty good. I mean, the best of the best I think in the Premier League is the right back at Man City, who's
Walker.
Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker.
One-on-one.
I think he's the best one-on-one defender
One-on-one.
in the world. I've
Yeah.
seen, because he's got his ridiculous
Wan-Bissaka
pace.
as well. It's quite decent. One-on-one.
Defensively.
Yeah,
One
defensive
Bissaka is, but he
yeah.
hasn't got all the know-how and
He hasn't
knowledge
got
that
the
Kyle
attributes,
Walker has.
but
He
one-on-one.
He could be
yeah.
because he's got the pace
Yeah.
and he's tenacious.
Yeah.
I think he's good at Premier League level. I think Kyle Walker's good at like any
Yeah.
level, because if you see him for England, and he's always the one, because they sometimes play him as right centre back,
Yeah, yeah.
because he's the one nobody can get past really.
Yeah.
I
He's
mean,
got
even
the
Mbappe
pace.
struggles. I mean,
next
Vinny
year-
Jr. turned him around quite a lot, but even then he
Yeah,
still
yeah.
coped. He didn't really let him pass.
Yeah,
that
but
often.
next year we will be talking about Timber being that player. I really do. I think it's literally going to be a surprise package for the Premier League.
No, I think he'd be very good, and he looked good in that game. But I
Yeah,
don't
he
think
did.
he's yet at the level of what Van Dijk was at his peak.
Oh, no. I'm
Kyle
not saying
Walker
that
is.
it will be the best defender. I'm saying like something like one-on-one.
But
But
your defenders are quick anyway, because Gabriel's quick as well. Saliba's quick. They're all. You haven't got one of those big lumbering centre, like you haven't got a Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
You know, turns like a battleship.
No, that's
Scores own goals and takes out his own players. I'm a fan, by the way.
Yeah.
Just in case you noticed the Harry Maguire. No, he's a decent player, but he was way overvalued. They got way English tax and
That's it.
Premier
Yeah.
League tax.
18
And I
million.
feel-
80 million for him was just a joke.
I
was
feel
a
like the
nonsense.
price tag.
Man United got pants pulled
affected
down.
Yeah. And also, and then to make him club captain was just even more. You put in more pressure on him.
Like the
that you
price
don't need to.
tag already putting pressure on him. Making him a club captain, it just makes it impossible.
I mean, he's good in the air, and that's fine. But like, and he can play a little bit. But like, modern football is so fast. It's like what Arsenal are building this team for.
Yeah,
It's what
exactly.
Man City's team, Liverpool's team
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
They're so quick. You got to be nimble. It's not
Yeah.
so much about, and that's what I think Arsenal do have a good defense
Yeah.
in that. They're still learning and they're still growing.
Yeah.
But Gabriel and Saliba are both good, and
yeah.
they've given him a lot of time to learn. Haven't they? With Saliba,
Yeah,
they both
they're
together,
very,
developed.
very. They
And
do
Timber
very
looks
big
like
thing together.
he's got a bit about him as well, but he's the same sort of. They can play. They're
Yeah.
quick. They've got all the bits and beats. You have to build a team like that. That's
No, you
the
do,
lumbering centre back isn't really the thing
Especially at
nowadays.
the top level when you're playing such a high line.
You need to be able to
mobility,
attack
you
as a
need-
team
Yeah,
and
exactly.
defend as a team.
Squeeze the game as a
Just
team,
Squeeze
and
game
then-
forward and be able to get back in shape quickly, isn't it?
And you need to be able to move, and it's all about the turnover, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
the transition. That's
it.
the word,
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
it.
It's all football's about transition. So he does not work in that.
Yeah.
So unless you've
Yeah.
got somebody really quick with him, and then
Yeah.
he's the stopper, and then that's the guy who
Yeah.
can run. And I don't think they've ever had that suitably. Varane was supposed to be that, and he's been good in bits, but he's been injured that much and
He's too
everything
injury
else.
prone now. You've also got him at the wrong time, but
And Lindelof isn't that good.
yeah.
But Martinez,
Well, Martinez has done. Is it Martinez or what's
Yeah,
it?
Lissandro.
Lissandro.
Martinez,
He's done quite well, but he's tenacious though. He's the old school
Yeah,
type.
he is.
you know what they call him?
Rugged.
The butcher.
Yeah.
Because
Chop
he
people
nearly
down.
killed Saka, which I was absolutely livid. It's a friendly, relax.
And you know what? He's only 5'9" as well.
He's a shot defender.
Lissandro Martinez
Yeah.
is. He's made improvement. That's why I think, come back to Man United, I think they've improved because those players have a bit more time to settle in. I think Ten Hag's had more time to settle in. I don't think they're going to win the league.
No.
Unless they go crazy. And I don't think they've got the players for it. I think Højlund, or whatever his name's, Rasmus Højlund, is going to take time to... Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Mason Mount obviously will be improvement. And they've got Andre Onana, the goalkeeper. He is quite good.
He's a good goalkeeper.
Is it an improvement from
De
Gea,
Gea? Yeah, of course.
Not
Like
De Gea at his
massive.
peak. Not De Gea at his peak, but I think De Gea, where he's sort of gone, he's has
In the
declined
last
a little
few
bit.
years.
For the
He's
past
open
in
to
the last
making the
2
mistakes.
seasons?
De Gea is still a really good goalkeeper, but he's prone to making mistakes, and he's been a bit more. He's not at the level that he was when he was, David.
Have you seen Onana at Inter?
Inter got a good defense.
No. But this is the
I only
thing.
seen him in the Champions
But
League.
this
To
is
be
the thing,
fair,
yeah. Like you say, they've got a good defense. I don't think they have a better defense than United. Maybe last season. But my point is, he is prone to silly mistakes as well.
The thing is,
He is. I'm not saying he's a rubbish keeper.
I haven't seen enough of him to see that. What I've seen him in the Champions League, he was quite good,
and also
he's got a bit of personality
and he
about him.
suits how Ten Hag wants to play, which is
is-
the most important thing.
We'll
He
play
can
midfield.
build the
from the
ball, and
back.
he's
He
quite
can-
confident.
If you watch him in a Champions League final, me personally, I was so impressed with him. He was so good on the ball, passing. He's like an outfield player almost.
Yeah.
He's so involved in how they play, and
He seems to be a good shot stopper. He might make mistakes, as like I said, I haven't seen enough of him, but what I've seen him in Champions League and there, I was quite impressed as well.
Yeah.
He's got that big personality,
Exactly.
he's can play. And that's where I think it's more De Gea's fallen down, and he can't really play out.
He can't play out.
It's not that he's not good at shot stopping, but he can't
Exactly.
play out.
Can't play
And
out.
that doesn't fit like that type of style.
It's similar
of
to-
player.
Yeah, I think that's what the mostly old school keeper
Exactly.
dealt with, isn't it?
Yeah.
The modern keeper, I think is part of your training as a young guy, which is you have to be able to play with your feet.
Especially
It makes
for
such a
certain
difference.
managers as well. A Ten Hag or a
Yeah.
Pep, you need to be a.
He's not
You're
that
out the door if
isn't
you
it?
can't do that. And I think Ten Hag's probably... So I think from that point of view, he is an important signing.
Yeah.
Like I said, from shot stopping, I agree with you. I'm not sure he's an upgrade on De Gea, but De Gea is pretty good at shot stopping. But from playing out from the back and personality, I think Onana's got a bit about him.
Which is going to be such a key component of what they're trying to do.
Yeah. So I think there'll be... Well, but we might as well do the bit of prediction, isn't it, for
Yeah.
things. So where do we... Man United, top four?
Top four for me comfortably as well. I'd say they'll be comfortably top four.
I think they're going to be challenging top four.
I
They'll be
think
in
top
there.
four. Yeah, I would imagine them to finish top four.
Yeah.
Top four.
I'd say top four.
Top four, yeah.
But then we're in the top four. Fourth.
I
third,
will at fourth.
I'd say so.
Maybe actually, if the striker hit the ground running, they might get away with it and finish third. But it needs to hit the ground running, because if they're not getting a goal out of him, top four might not be
So
possible.
who are we going for first? Man City?
City are going to win the league for me. Yeah.
No.
All right, Arsenal did, obviously.
Arsenal
Of
for
course.
me.
Yeah.
So
100%.
City, Arsenal. For number two,
City.
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number three, then? Are we saying Man United?
Man United.
I'd say Liverpool. We'll finish above United.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have said probably Liverpool's probably third and Man United
then
fourth.
United.
I think.
I think he was going to be contested.
Like
for
I
third
say,
and
yeah,
fourth.
I feel like the striker, if it hit the ground running, then
Yeah, then they've got a
Third.
chance
Yeah.
of being there. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I think they're probably looking at
Yeah.
fourth. Depending on how Liverpool, obviously, and we can speak about them, how they get on. Newcastle, then, what do we think? Because they were obviously
I
fourth,
think Champions League is gonna be a reality
Yeah.
check.
Yeah.
So I will expect
playing in
them-
the Champions League and playing in the
Yeah.
Premier League and having the
the
things.
intensity of Champions League on a Wednesday night. You need to keep the same intensity at the weekend, or else is it that they slip down the table? They won't be able to keep up with both.
Yeah.
And I don't think they'll win Champions League, even if they go all out for Champions League.
No.
Not this season.
They're not there yet.
Yeah.
But then to be fair to them, though, I think Eddie Howe's made some decent street signings.
They've got some players as well.
Yeah, they got some bodies in and such. Yeah.
They've
But
improved.
again, in their team, there's only, I would say, probably about 2 players that's got Champions League experience.
True.
You need to literally play Champions League a few years for you to literally understand just how intense it can be on a night.
I think if they won the Champions League, that'd be the miracle of miracles.
I
Because
mean, God.
you've got to rely on
It
everybody
will be
else not
bigger
to-
than
Yeah.
it will be bigger than Leicester.
You would have Real
of
Madrid
course.
not turning up,
Yeah.
Bayern Munich not turning up,
City.
Barcelona are going to be good next
City,
season.
Arsenal.
City, Arsenal, Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Oh, Liverpool in it?
Liverpool.
Liverpool,
not-
oh no,
City,
they're playing on Thursday
Arsenal.
now.
Oh, it is. It is. He's been waiting to get that in the whole show. Yeah, okay.
So,
Spurs. Do we?
You were Spurs going to take more than 5 minutes.
mean,
So
I
do we
think-
just
I
dismiss
know.
them?
No. I think if they lose Kane, top 10, they will struggle for top 10 because there's no recognizable striker out there that will give them Kane's goal.
No, they're not going to have Kane's goals. I don't think they're going to be challenging for Champions League,
No.
but I don't think that.
I don't
either.
think they will.
I think
Nowhere
Kane
near
was the
top four.
opportunity to do that.
If they lose Kane,
But
top
I think
four-
they'll still be in the top 7 or 8.
Yeah,
Because
I'd say so.
Who else is there, really?
if they finish
They've
8,
got Richarlison and they've got Son. Isn't it? And
Son.
if they keep them fit, they will score
Yeah.
enough goals to get them into
I
6, 7.
I don't think Richarlison is going to get them double figures. I don't think Son maybe.
Richarlison every season before has got into double figures.
Exactly.
Well, it didn't last season.
But he didn't play.
Yeah,
that
but he
much.
didn't play, did he?
Didn't play that
And they
much.
played him out of
If
position.
obviously he's doing something in the in training for a manager not to fancy him.
But now he's going to have to
You
play.
can't be playing well in training and I still say
Well, I think
no.
Conte
I don't
didn't
fancy you.
really like him. I don't know why they bought him under him, but I think if Kane goes, I think he'll be number 9 for them.
Yeah.
And I think that will, because it's like Brazil, when he plays that position, he turns into a different beast. I mean, he's a quality player. He's not going to score Kane's number of goals, but
No,
you
of
would
course.
expect him to get 15 goals,
Yeah.
13, 14, 15. I mean,
I'd say
that's
so.
what he averaged at Everton, and Everton, most of the teams he played in were always not that great,
But
shall we
not
say.
as good as Tottenham are, even. So, I think
Where did he go after Watford? Is it Everton?
he went to Everton.
I'd have him back anytime. He's a brilliant player.
He's a good player.
The thing is, he's more than his goals. It's what everything else he does. He's
Yeah.
annoying to the opposition. Like that's why most of the opposition fans don't like him.
Yeah.
Because he is that bit, but he is loyal and he's really good with it. And he scored 3 in the friendly, isn't it? He scored a hat trick in one of the friendly games.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
So
But I think Tottenham, with or without Kane, were never in
I
that
don't
top four
think top 4.
conversation.
Yeah,
It
they
was-
just
it was
they
never there.
haven't.
I think with
threatened-
Kane, they'd be looking for 5th, really, is
Yeah.
the position. And I think
Fifth?
without Kane,
with Kane 5th.
As a ceiling, as the highest
I
position.
don't think so. With Kane, listen.
yeah, but Arsenal are going to be above him. Man City are going to be above
Yeah,
him.
but
I
we
think
have to
Liverpool are going to be
understand
above
something,
Man
yeah.
United.
Look
So
at-
the highest position I can see him finishing is 5th,
That's it.
challenging for 4th and 5th.
Have you,
Yeah.
if you look at their squad from last season to this season, there's no improvement. They've let players go. You know, so they haven't really improved like that. They've bought a couple of players. Well, I don't know them at least. You know, I can only say.
Yeah, I'm not saying Tottenham are great. I don't think they're challenging for anything really,
Yeah.
but they will be for challenging for Europe. I think if they get rid of Kane, then that drops that down, and then it depends on how Son and Richarlison and Co
Yeah.
can cope.
And then
Will they buy a replacement? I don't know. I don't know.
they've
who
got
they
the other guy as well. He's quite good. His name escapes now. He's
Striker.
He used to play on the right.
Yeah,
Kulusevski.
That's the
Kulusevski,
one. Yeah, he's a good player.
And they've added the 1 or 2 of the midfielders, and they've got, because some of them were on loan, weren't they? And they've added them as
Yeah.
well. So they have improved like the squad, although it's the same players. They've actually signed them permanently. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be challenging for the title anyway. So they're not one. I think you've got the teams that are challenging for the title. Brighton, well, they're going to sell the whole team.
Yeah,
I feel like if they would have had some
If
sort of,
Casido's gone and
I think they would have.
McAllister's gone.
There's a plan. They've brought a couple of players.
They have actually signed somebody really good
Yeah,
as well. I
they've
think.
signed offensive players. So obviously, if Casido does go, I would imagine somebody
he probably
is
will.
going to come in.
yeah.
You know, listen, they're not going to get in top 4. They're not going to
No,
win
no,
the
no.
league. But I would fancy them to do exactly what they did last
That's
season.
why I don't understand why they've dragged it out so much, other than they don't need to sell and they've got money, or
Their
they've
man-
already
is
lined
their-
up the
is their
guys. So they
chairman.
know.
Which is what they
Their
normally do.
chairman doesn't listen. In January, before he has 3 years left on his contract, they bought him for 6 million, and we offer over 60 million
Yeah.
for him, and they said no. They said no.
But I think in
and
January-
they'll be playing in Europe. They'll
Yeah.
be playing in Europe
Yeah.
next season. So again, I feel like those teams that don't really have Europe experience might struggle
Yeah.
a little bit juggling both. Do you understand?
Especially
You know?
using like good players, like you said.
Brighton doesn't really have the
Signed
squad, do they?
No.
To go and challenge in Europe and do
Yeah.
it again on a Sunday. So again,
I think as far as like top 6, I'd probably be edging more towards like an Aston Villa maybe.
Aston Villa
they've
looks
done good
decent.
business.
Yeah,
No
they've got-
European football.
Yeah.
No,
they're in the Conference League.
Yeah, they're in the conference, but they've done some good business. I fancy them.
And
as
they've got
well.
a class manager as well.
Yeah, they've got a good manager.
Yeah,
as well.
Mourinho.
I like De Zerbi as well. De Zerbi,
Yeah,
I think,
no, he is.
I think he's more suited to Chelsea than Potter or Poch.
You think so?
I really think so. I really think so.
That could be a shout.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Pochettino though. I think Poch is a really, really good manager. That's a good appointment, I think.
Poch has got the name, isn't it?
He has.
He hasn't got the
Because
name.
he's
That's the
got,
difference.
yeah, we've
So it's
seen him
getting
at
players,
PSG.
and there's a lot of players like him, isn't it? Because I think he's
We've
quite
seen
nice
him at
guy.
PSG with, some of the best players in the world.
Yeah, but I think the problem is the players that they had bigger names than he has.
That's what I'm saying.
And whereas Chelsea now with the players they've got, most of them have won loads of things.
That's
the
it.
new
And they're
upcoming
all
young
young.
players. So
Yeah.
that's where he's good. That's what he did at Tottenham.
That's
He's a young
exactly.
upcoming
Southampton
players.
even as well.
And Southampton. Whereas where he fits, I think if he's not Ancelotti, where you can put him into the the
big dressing room.
Galacticos, and
Yeah.
then he goes. He's not the same thing. It's and like obviously Pep can do that, Klopp can do that a bit, where they can. Although I think Klopp develops them more as well, but they've got the name and the
Yeah, they've
personality
got
to do that.
yeah.
I think, and they've won the trophies to
Yeah.
back up and go, well,
Exactly.
I've won a Champions League as well, and I've won this.
They command respect almost. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think Poch does with the other players, and he's good with developing them, but I don't think he's got that level where he's not an Ancelotti, Pep, or a Klopp.
And he probably prefers to
Or a Mourinho.
work with a younger squad
Yeah.
because they can do what he work hard,
Exactly.
do this, do that.
Career is exactly the plan, isn't it?
Well, that's why I think Chelsea are probably going to be. They'll be good this season, but I think they're going to be still transitioning.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take him time to get him to play the way he
Yeah,
wants to
yeah,
play,
yeah.
and they're all young and getting
Yeah.
used to the Premier League.
Yeah.
So
But I do think
What do you think of the Nicholas Jackson? It looks
good
really
player.
good. Yeah.
He's a
decent
good
player.
player. Yeah, he
Again,
looks
I've not
very-
watched him enough to give some sort of a good opinion on him. But he
I
looks
think one thing
the
is
few
this
games
year
I've
that
watched him.
before Chelsea went in for him, yeah. I mean the way you kind of pass judgment on these players is the fact that listen, if the scouts, every single club's got scouts everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nobody's really breaking their legs to sign him except for Chelsea.
How much did he come for?
Is he like 40 or 50, something like that?
just
I don't
about
know,
to
between
find
40
out
and
now.
50.
Yeah.
no Chelsea squad. Arrival.
Not crazy amount. So
37 million. So that's quite
37
good.
million. So not
In today's
you don't
market.
get.
Well, they had Nkunku, which I think has gone under the radar because obviously they signed
Yeah,
him
they
ages
signed
ago
him
and
a
he's just
year
coming.
ago,
So he
isn't
was
it? Yeah,
60
yeah, yeah.
million.
He just got injured, which is quite.
I think that's euros, isn't it? 60 million euros.
Yeah, he's just
and
been injured
37
this
million
year,
euros,
isn't
so
it?
it's
Yeah,
even
yeah.
less. And then they got Axel Disasi, a centre back, for 45 million euros. And a defensive midfielder whose name I'm not going to say. 'Cause,
Yeah. No, I think-
Leslie Ugo Chukwu.
Ugo Chukwu.
Ugo
Yeah.
Chukwu.
Yeah, Ugo Chukwu.
And then somebody that's undisclosed. So I think that's just somebody.
But
that
I do
had
think though Chelsea could be a bit of a dark horse for top four maybe.
This year
Playing one game a week. He's going to have time on the grass
to
with them
recover.
to train them, implement his ideas, and playing that one game a week. It could be,
I think
it could be a dark
I will
horse.
make if they deal with
If they start
Liverpool.
well.
No, not beating Liverpool. As in they contain Liverpool. Maybe they got a draw out of it,
Yeah.
but it's not the fact that they were taking attack on attack.
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
matching Liverpool.
Yeah.
Then I would be able to pass better judgment on how their season should go. I would expect them to finish outside top 5.
Do you think?
outside top 4.
Outside
I think
top four.
outside, because
But
we already said the top 4. But
Next
I think
season,
they can,
next season,
I think
fifth place can get you Champions League with the new laws.
Yeah.
So, because it's the new coefficiency laws where the leagues that do well in the Champions League, they'll get 5
Oh
places.
yeah, they'll get 5 places. Yeah,
In the
I
Champions
think
League.
we're going to have another pause. So
Yeah.
we'll just pause for a bit and then I'll go and get another battery.
Yeah.
So we think we've got top 4. So then where do we think 5th and 6th? Chelsea, Tottenham, who are the contenders for that?
That's
Aston
exactly-
Villa, I think, is a good shout.
Villa is.
Chelsea,
Newcastle?
Do you know what? Yeah.
Chelsea. I think
I think, like I was saying before, Chelsea playing one game a week. If it goes well and Pochettino gets his ideas across, I think they could finish 5th for me.
I think they will finish 5th.
Yeah.
They'll
Okay.
finish 5th and maybe Newcastle,
6th?
Yeah.
then Spurs, then
I have a
the
sneaky
big
feeling Villa
boys
will be
that's
above
not so
them
big.
because I think Emery will pull something
Do
out
you
the
think
back.
so?
But are they playing in Europe as well?
Conference
Yeah,
League.
Got Conference League, Thursday games.
Yeah. And I feel as though because he's such a specialist when it comes to European competitions,
Oh, but yeah,
You'll
he's,
focus
he
on that.
may focus on that more than the league.
and they may think, we've got more chance of winning that because obviously West Ham have won that. So.
Exactly. And when you win it, it puts you straight into
Straight
the
to
Europa
Europa
League
League.
the following year. So it'll depend, I think.
But they've got a reasonable squad, and
do.
they've gradually
They do.
strengthened it
Yeah.
up, and they've
Yeah.
added a few good players to it. So, and obviously he's a very good manager.
And
So
I feel like we're forgetting a contender in my head. he would have been there or
Brentford.
thereabouts. No,
Like top 4.
like the top 6
Brighton
competition.
would have been, but I think because if they sell Casido and sell Davis,
Yeah,
then I think
they'll fall
they'll
off.
be in a transition again, and
fall
they'll be
off,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they bought some players, but still. Who else was with the table?
That's it. We've covered all
All
the
the
big boys.
contenders, yeah.
Everton, obviously, we haven't spoken.
Yeah,
Well, is there
not
anything
there,
you want
yeah.
to say on Liverpool's things? Who would you like? And
On Liverpool, so what I was saying before,
What signings would you fancy
Right.
other than Casido?
I mean, ideally, I think we've lost so many midfielders. I feel like we need 2 through the door. One experienced one, and that Lavia. So you get an experienced guy to where Lavia can learn from him.
Would you prefer Lavia to Casido?
I'd rather them both, to be honest. But obviously, that's in an ideal world. But if you're
I'd
going to
have
get,
Casido first.
of course, yeah, he'd be in
But
first.
obviously, money and things allowing for.
When you look at the amount of numbers we've lost, people forget Keita, Ox, obviously Fabinho, Henderson, Milner. You're talking about 5 senior
5
first
rubbish
team.
players, yeah.
No, behave. 5 first team at midfielders gone. So if you're bringing a kid to replace all that, that's not going to be enough. So ideally, you need 2, and then also, as I was saying before, at the back, got a bit of a concern because we've got too many injury prone. Apart from Van Dijk, obviously he's been injured as well, but you've got Konate, tends to pick up the odd injury, Matip and Gomez. We could easily find ourselves to 2 of those are probably out for like a good 3 months. And then you're relying on Konate and Van Dijk again every single week. We could easily find ourselves in similar problems to what we've had in the past 2-3 years where
So what would you prefer?
short on
Before the
numbers.
window shut, what
in an
what
ideal
positions would you...
world, in an ideal world, 2 centre mids and a centre back. Ideally. But I think what they're going to do is possibly get one of each. Even there, I'm dreaming because what's going on right now, I'm not too sure what the transfer policy seems to be because it's sort of, they've been chasing this kid Lavia for the past, 3 weeks. Penny pinching, bidding 40 mil and then 42 and then 45. And it's like, Southampton, they've told you they want 50. If you want him, go and get him.
Just go and pay.
And then stop wasting time. And now you find ourselves where we've got 2 weeks to go.
And you still
And
haven't
Chelsea
got
have come
anybody
in,
through the door. Yeah,
and you've got no one in.
competitors.
So it's like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. But for the past few years, they've seemed like they've known what to do in a market. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that there's some sort of strategy to what they're doing. But I'm not hopeful.
I think they'll get one of them. I think Chelsea will get one and they'll get one.
Yeah.
It's whichever one.
They'll share the players.
I think Casido would be better for him, but obviously he's
Yeah.
going to be a big stump of
But that's
money.
the worry, though. That's not going to be enough to what we've lost. The amount of bodies that have gone off the
if they
building.
bring
But I
in
don't
just
think you get a
Casido-
centre back if you get him, isn't it? Because I think that's
I
the
don't think they will
underspending.
be able to even go after any of the big names. They might have to bring in one of those 20, whatever. Just, you know.
No, there's a kid from Brazil that they've been looking at. He's meant to be, a tough, quite quick. His name escapes me now, but
Is it midfielder?
yeah. So there's a centre mid from Brazil who's like 21, early 20s. So I think the idea is to get Lavia and that kid from Brazil, which I'd be happy with. But then if you can go and get a centre half as well, then I think we're okay to start the season, I'd say. Come September 1st, if you've got those 3 covered, I'm happy, I'd say.
Just as a point, looking at it, I didn't check this before, but I should have. Tottenham finished 8th with Harry Kane last year.
Yeah.
Because it was Liverpool were 5th, Brighton was 6th, Aston Villa was 7th. So does that change your predictions on that?
Yeah. So with Kane.
If they, like I say, if
Assuming
they lose,
Bayern Munich by Kane.
if they lose
which
Kane,
looks more likely than not.
if they lose Kane, and if they lose Kane, first of all, they're going to struggle massively. And let's talk about Kane for a second as well,
But
If
they've got a new
Kane,
manager, the guy from Celtic, isn't it? Postecoglou.
And also,
Yeah,
how's
yeah,
he
yeah.
going to do?
we don't
Exactly.
know, because
He's a new
to the-
manager, so-
he hasn't managed in the Premier League before, has
It's
he?
a different level, so he...
is a different level.
What do you mean compared to the Scottish League? Are you sure?
I'm not looking to offend anyone. Yeah.
To all
Well,
you Celtic fans, no, he didn't mean
Yeah.
that. We
Like-
love you. We
Yeah,
love
yeah.
you.
What I was saying about Kane, if Kane decides to stay at Spurs, it shows lack of ambitions from him. You cannot. It's 30, you've been riding with.
If I was him, I'd go to Bayern because you're going to win stuff.
Of course.
So, and it's
It
getting
makes
close
sense.
to
They
your
will
last
give
chance.
him good
And
money.
it's not just you're going to win stuff, you're going to win quite a lot. Bayern. Because their main shortcoming last year was just a striker. Because obviously Lewandowski went to Barcelona to
That
have
was
a
2 years
change of
ago, yeah.
scenery.
But they was it Chupa what's his name?
Moting.
Moting
Yeah.
is their main striker last season, yeah, and it's not his output was not great.
Yeah, they
Kane
win the
going into
Bundesliga,
that
but
team-
they were short in the Champions League because
Yeah.
of that. You could tell the difference, even though and Muller's getting to who usually chucked in a load of goals. He's getting obviously was getting to the end anyway. Lewandowski was the machine, so I think if they get Kane,
If he goes to
being
Bayern in that team, I think they might win Champions League
and he'll score even more.
No,
goals
they've got a better
than what he
chance.
scores it.
because
But-
they've got Sané, Gnabry, all these mans, just
You know, Real
getting-
Madrid are going to win the Champions League this year.
You
Because
think so?
Ancelotti's going to sign off and then drop the mic and go to
Just go to
Barcelona,
Bar-
and he's going to 5 Champions Leagues.
Yeah.
I don't care what other any team does. I think if Benzema had stayed, I'd put like a mortgage on it. That's the dead set. But I think obviously with him going, we've got to see how they strike.
Yeah.
But I think the rest of the team is that good, and Ancelotti's that good that I think having missed out on it, and he was still pretty close.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna do a mic drop and then leave to go to manage Brazil.
The
That'll be his
Brazil.
last club side, and then
Yeah.
he'll do
Into the-
international.
Into the national team. But you know what? Going back on Kane now, to play devil's advocate, I think if I was him, I'd also consider run my contract down, wait for next summer, be a free agent, and then potentially have more clubs to look at. Because for me to go to Germany, fair enough, he's got guaranteed trophies and probably great wages, a 5-year contract on the table. So that's all great. But next summer, he could have more of a choice, maybe, because right now, the only place he could go, realistically, is Bayern. But then,
But they're the main team trying in it. I
No,
think
they are.
everybody else
But-
has fallen.
but
Yeah,
come,
they're falling back. Like, it's
come
all right.
next season, Bayern will still be there, because if they don't get Kane, who do they go out and get? But then next summer, there could be other players, United even.
Well, if Hoyland doesn't work out,
That's what I'm saying. And then you're a free agent, you make more money from the transfer. All the money goes to you.
Yeah, but we're not talking about money as much now.
Yeah.
I'm saying you cannot be at a club for
No, I get that.
10 plus years or whatever, yeah, win 0 medal, and they regard to you as the greatest striker or what. I don't care. You are not.
No, but I
sorry,
think-
what team are you support? Arsenal.
Exactly.
Okay, let's caveat that with that.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
an Arsenal fan.
Exactly.
The gunner is coming out of he's shooting him, giving him back fouls.
Yeah.
Listen, yeah, I said this before here, and I'm gonna say it again, and this is super controversial, but it's fine. I don't care. I don't put Gerrard in my top 5 midfielder
Oh my
simply
God.
because it doesn't have Premier League
How have
medal.
we ended up here?
No,
Can
I'm
we-
just saying that Kane is
Can we
in
stick to
danger.
topic for the moment, please?
Is in
How we ended
danger.
up here?
Kane is in danger of getting into that bracket.
Okay.
You
Well, no,
cannot.
I think
you
he's
can't,
already
you can't
in
be
that
regarded
bracket.
to as the best
He
of
is.
anything when you cannot.
First of all-
literally win.
Well, he's not
your
the best
domestics.
striker that Tottenham ever had because that's Jimmy Greaves because
Yeah.
he scored a shed load more goals.
Fine.
And they've also had other good strikers. So
He's
I think
broken the record, though, hasn't he? He broke the record last season. The
Premier League, but not in.
isn't it the-
See, the thing
no.
is, you got to remember Sky Sports only do the Premier League because that's
Yeah.
what they sponsor.
Yeah.
If you actually look at the records before that, Jimmy
Greaves
Greaves is the
scored,
highest
yeah.
scorer.
Look,
Because Jimmy, and I only know that because he's like 1 or 2 ahead of
Yeah.
Dixie Dean, who holds the actual
Okay.
good record of 60 goals in a season that even Haaland, with all the superpowered Man City, ain't going to break.
Yeah,
So,
it's got
Jimmy
fine.
Greaves has got
no,
over 400 odd goals, hasn't
Okay.
he? Although maybe not just at Tottenham, but over
That's what I'm saying.
he scored in the top division.
I'm
He scored
pretty
that many.
sure that Kane broke the Tottenham
We can check.
all-time goal-scoring record.
Yeah, I think no for Spurs.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, for
Spurs.
Tottenham.
Yeah, for
So he's
Spurs,
got
I
that
think so.
record already. But I don't know, if you talk about Kane, though, you're probably touching
Yeah,
on...
because it was 266 for Jimmy Greaves
Yeah.
and 280 over. But Jimmy Greaves is the highest, like all combined, scoring in top level football in First Division
yeah,
Premier
yeah.
League. I think over 400, isn't it? And I think Dixie Dean's number 2, isn't it?
Yeah. See, I think Kane, if he waited this long, what's another 9 months? You know, and I get what you're saying. He's lacked ambition.
In 9 months, a lot can happen.
Oh, no,
He
wait,
broke
I'm
his
a bit
legs.
wrong.
He couldn't recover his
560.
form. All of a sudden,
It's Harry Kane. He's been
the only people that's looking at him are, I don't know, championship teams.
He's been doing it at the top for what, a decade. So what's another season to where you've got more
a
of
lot can happen in a season. You know
No, of
this.
course.
You drop off massively last season.
But if I'm Harry Kane, I'm backing myself not to do that because he's proven in the past 10 years.
Yeah, but you're back.
He's-
You're putting this on the fact that if you stay for one more season, it will be okay. But it might not be okay. Could break his leg, unable to regain the form.
Well, no, I can understand Jules' point there about going, but like I think he's done enough in the Premier League. If there's somebody in the Premier League was coming in, but like Man City aren't, and even if Haaland goes next season, I don't see him going there. Liverpool aren't going to buy him.
No, of course.
So that's your two probably more likely winners of something.
Yeah.
Arsenal aren't going to buy him. So that's your third one gone.
No,
then,
thank you.
Then who's next in that list of it? Then Man United.
But then United with him in a team.
Yeah, but we are saying United.
Well, I'm surprised Man United haven't gone for him this season.
That's what I'm saying.
That's because
Other than the
Levy
fee.
is fend everybody
Well, I think
off.
they've had to go buying him, and he's never got there. And I think Man City, that they tried and didn't get there. And the sort of money they're asking is too much for. I wouldn't pay that much money for Harry Kane. I think 70 was about the right value.
Yeah.
That buy-in put up
then
first, but they've gone up to about 80 odd, haven't they? So
Yeah,
They've gone up to 100.
It's gone up to like 94 million pounds. Yeah.
That's why they say Tottenham have accepted it. It's now left to Kane to
you know
say,
what,
I want to go, or I don't want to go.
If I'm a United fan, even as late as it is, I'd still want my club to go in and match that bid and look to get him, because for them, Kane is transformed them.
They've bought a 19-year-old for a lot of money.
No, but he's
Unproven 19-year-old, by the way.
he's not ready to go into the team straight away. This is Man United. They can go and spend that 94 mil and automatically.
Well, I think the reason they haven't is because they haven't got that much money. But I think if they sell the Maguire, McTominay and co, then
might
they'll
be
have
able to
another
raise
bid.
the funds,
They can
maybe.
probably then get, well, if they get like 30, 40 each for both of them, that they're trying.
Because
Although
we
I think,
came automatically.
See, that'll be Arsenal's fault
Close to
because they
Arsenal.
gave West Ham the money. Did they get the money for Man U to go up by Harry Kane and finish above them? Oh,
Exactly.
What are you doing here?
Ironic, isn't it?
This is what happens when you overpay. It's all your fault.
Exactly. I'd be United should be going in.
If I was a United fan, I'd want Harry Kane to be
Exactly.
there. I think that's the best striker they could probably buy, a realistic choice. That will at least give him a season or two where he's going to be over 20 plus goals.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't get injured, I mean, he has been prone to a little bit of injuries.
Yeah.
But they've overpaid for Højlund, which should have been about 40 million and 67. I mean, I'm not dissing, he might be that good.
Yeah, you don't
but
know.
I mean, and just, I think Atalanta have added on the Premier League tax the other way and said, "Oh, you,
100%.
How much money do you get from Sky? Yeah, let's go."
Exactly.
And they've raised the price up a bit for where he is because he's still a developer and he's not established. 70 million is more like a reasonably well-established striker. But yeah, I agree with you. I think if they'd got him and Haaland, I wish they wish, and Harry Kane, then they should be going for him. But like a 70 million, they should definitely be going for him. 100, it's getting a bit high. But for them, it's still worth it because you'll sell enough shirts, and if they finish up a position, and they're in and they get a good run at Champions League, because with him they got a good run at Champions League.
100%.
They're not going to win, but they've got a good run at it.
But then they can go deep into the competition.
Deep into the competition. That's
Well,
70,
if he
80
goes
million
to
they make. That's another 20, 30 million.
But if he goes to Bayern,
You paid that difference.
He'd pay for himself.
yeah, but if he goes to Bayern, there's shirt sales as well, and Bayern
I think that's
are
what
in
Bayern
better
do.
position to win the Champions League more than United.
Yeah.
Well, if I was him, I'd go to Bayern
Would
than
you?
Yeah,
United.
of course.
See, if I was him, I'd go to
Because
United.
Bayern to me is like see, I think in Premier League we have Premier League bias, but if you actually look at clubs in Europe who are the big clubs, two biggest clubs, Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Yeah.
There's no
After
question.
that.
Even Man United aren't there, or like they're going about the market. But the two biggest clubs in the world are Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Still.
Everybody and their dog knows who they are
of course.
on a global scale. All the American basketball players and everybody are into them clubs. The celebrities, worship that ground. After them, the royalty in Europe is probably Bayern Munich is the next big club.
I think it's
Well, they won
between
6
Bayern and
European
United.
titles, isn't it?
I think it's between Bayern and United.
Excluding Premier League clubs, I'm saying, but like
Okay.
yeah, the European royalty. We're out of Europe now, we Brexited.
Yeah. That's a good point.
The royalty there in terms of European football is probably Bayern, and then this is really going to be hard for me to say. So I'm going to speak quietly. Liverpool probably because they've got their 6 Champions Leagues, but then you've got Milan.
Look at that.
But
The
Milan
smilers
is one.
came back.
Milan have got 7, so there's Milan and Inter have got less, but like they're Milan is the next level after Real Madrid. Actually, they've won more than Barcelona,
But it's just
more
the
than Bayern
status,
and more
the
than
state of Serie A at the minute, sort of.
Well, they're getting back now. They were they're cutting up to the final. They were in the semi-finals, both
True.
of them, weren't they?
True. Yeah.
So I think, and then Inter were in the final.
Yeah.
I think if they sort themselves out and get back to being anything like what they should be, they're not there yet, and they're probably a fair bit away.
Yeah.
But they're doing a new stadium and all the bits and pieces. they're the royalty of it. In name, they have the stature.
Yeah.
All right, they're down at the moment. Bayern are one of those.
Of course.
PSG aren't, but because they have a name, because of Messi, Neymar, and co, they've got a name, but they haven't got the history to back it up.
No.
Not in European credentials. But they're only in fairly new club anyway. And then you've got the royalty of Premier League clubs, and like I said, this is Liverpool in
Premier League
terms
clubs.
of
Premier League
royalty of
clubs.
European clubs.
In
Because
England.
Liverpool have won more than all the rest put together.
In England.
The royalty of Premier League.
In England.
In European football.
Oh, right.
The royalty of Premier League clubs in Europe is as much as whatever anybody else thinks of Liverpool.
It's Liverpool.
And it's heartbreaking to say that, but it is.
Yeah.
And then I think everybody else is. I don't think there's any other really Premier League club that's royalty in Europe.
Yeah.
Arsenal aren't. They haven't won anything really. They haven't won the Champions League. Chelsea have given it a good go in the short time, but they're like the PSG, but they have won enough.
After Liverpool is United.
Man United have, because they've won it
Is
3 times.
United after Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because we got 3.
United after them and then Chelsea. But I wouldn't say Man United or Chelsea are royalty. They're the next level down.
Yeah.
They're like PSG. PSG are the wannabe.
The PSG, yeah. I mean, United have got histories of, to be fair, in the European Cup. But no. If you go back on Kane, me personally, I'd be looking to go to United above Bayern Munich, because I think he could bring them back to competing.
Let's talk
Yeah, but
about
if you want to play good football, I'd go to Bayern.
But then I'd want to be in a best competition, because I think in the Premier League it's more competitive. My problem is with Bundesliga.
Yeah, but he's been here that long. He doesn't. He has nothing really to prove. If I was him now and looking where he is, I'd want to be in a team where I know I'm going to win. And Man United, even with him in it,
if Man City come in for
they
him,
don't go zump Man City. Exactly. They're probably only just about going to. I'll make Ola happy. They're probably just about catch up to Arsenal.
Yeah.
And depending on what Klopp and Liverpool do and how fit he keeps his players, they might only get up to there. They don't get into the Man City level, I don't think.
But then you'd be signing with a view of 3-4 years. Would you not?
That only works if Haaland leaves.
No. That only works if Kane is 25.
No, he's 30. He's still, I mean...
He's going to be 34 and you want him to be what? Chasing down defenders.
But the other reason I say Bayern is because you've got
quick.
Sané and you've got Alphonso Davies. Well, who's the guy? Gnabry.
These are people that are going to feed into him.
They're so quick that... No, but the other thing is the way he plays at Tottenham, if you actually look, he dropped back and then it's that ball to Son who runs onto it. And his Son's pace. And I think there you've got Sané, Gnabry, Alphonso Davies. The team is so quick and he can play like... more like he's been playing there, but he'll get 40 odd goals or 50 goals. Yeah. And I think they've got a chance of winning one of the. I don't think they're winning Champions League this year, but they've got. If they sign him, the Bayern normally win the Champions League. They'll pull it out the bag.
If they sign him, I think they will.
Well, I told you Real Madrid. Mine.
Not nice.
I mean, it's crazy, because I think Arsenal will win it. No. So our Arsenal and Bayern will win it together. Please. I don't know, but
I don't know what you've got in here.
Arsenal are going to win the Champions League this year. The only Premier League team I think that have got that. Well, there's 2 because Liverpool are always there, but they're not in it, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's Man City again because they might want to sign it off, and Haaland might want to sign off that, and Pep as well. Because once he gets winning stuff, he normally does a bit together like he did at Barcelona and he's done before.
Arsenal are in there to win it.
You'll get knocked out in a round of 16s. I can tell you that.
I think Arsenal are going to do well in it but I don't think they're going to be in the semi-finals and past.
Quarterfinal,
unless they get an easy run and there's like there's a group.
Wait, sorry, it's gone from last 16 to quarterfinal. I keep going. By the time we finish,
quarterfinal is a good achievement, I think. For
quarterfinal is the absolute maximum.
So when we finish, when we are preparing for a semi-final,
that's not going to happen. It'll be after Christmas, around February, March time. You'll get a Dortmund or someone like that.
If we finish quarterfinal, it's still higher than Liverpool, isn't it?
It's very true. Yeah, but in the last 5 years, we've reached 3 finals. We've won it once. You've never won it at all.
No, but there's those clubs who have that history. For Liverpool, no matter good or bad, they manage to pull it out. And I think Anfield plays a huge.
No, of course.
Yeah. If they get them in the right way round, they do well.
What day are you playing again in the Champions League?
It doesn't matter. We're allowed to take a year out.
What day?
It's allowed. If you look
it's
at
like a recovery, isn't it? It's like you got to have that recovery period. Look at Van Dijk. He has his year off. Yeah. So Van Dijk's got his year recovery. You've got to remember all that. He's got to have his recovery for all these players.
Exactly. Don't you forget it.
Salah needs to get back to old Salah, isn't it? And all the players, they need to get them bedded in.
If he doesn't go to
the Nunez and Nunez and
if he doesn't go to Saudi,
what's his name? Recovered from his injury, the other winger, the one bought before Nunez, Diaz.
you know what? He's looked good in pre-season, actually.
He looked good all the way until he gets injured. That's
Yeah.
the problem. He looked like he was actually good
You know
to
what?
replace Mane in goal.
He's a key player.
Yeah.
For how we play as well, he's so energetic, he presses. Only thing is, I don't think he gets enough goals. It's replacing Mane's goals because Mane used to score quite a bit. And where Diaz struggles is found in the back of the net. But as a player,
As a player and setup, he's really good.
Yeah.
Do you think their plan is to win the Europa League to get into the Champions League?
I think we're going to do both.
If Chelsea go do better. I had to have one day. Come on. I've been nice all the way through.
Listen, you two can laugh in August. We'll see who's laughing come May. That's what I say. Come May.
Well, no, I think if it goes normally, Liverpool, like we've already said, probably should be in the top 4. But if one of the clubs sneaks it out and starts overachieving, like a Newcastle's done this year or one of the others, Chelsea, if they get it together and Poch manages to sprinkle some magic, then I think it could be tough. Because I think United probably will be if they don't get injuries and get their signings up the line.
An advantage that we've got is the Europa League kicks in seriously, really, after the new year. We can afford to play our second string, group stages and all this after Christmas. And even then...
If you play your second string, you might not get out of the group.
Oh, come on, it's the Europa League. The level's so low.
I don't think Klopp
The
ever
level
plays
is so low.
No, I don't
Europa
think
League.
Klopp
What is
ever
he
plays
talking
completely
about?
second
The group
string, does he?
stages.
You know where this lot...
You remember he's an Arsenal fan. For them, it's a struggle. Liverpool are used to get out the group stage in the
Let me
Champions
tell you
League.
something. We've been there for a minute. Yes. I can tell you something here. Where you play when you play on a Thursday,
Yeah.
it affects you on a weekend because it's
think
so
that's a
close to the weekend.
I think
You
that's
see
a
that extra day
that's a bit
or
of a
extra
myth.
couple of
It's a
days
bit of a
of
myth.
rest
It's a bit of a
makes the
myth, though.
difference.
It's a bit
You
of a
think so?
myth. It's a myth.
Okay, fine. We'll see.
Especially, okay, last season, before Christmas, when you were playing your group games, what sort of team was Arteta fielding?
Second team. Wait.
Yeah.
Second team. But then...
And look how well we did in a league.
Wait. Second team.
Yeah.
But then there will be odd 1 or 2 games that we have to bring in your Saka, Martinelli to go and finish the game quickly.
To finish the game. No, well, I think Liverpool have got the same thing because they're not... The thing is, you got to remember, Liverpool are used to playing 2 games.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, it's Thursday's harder than Wednesday, but they're used to having that. They've got a big enough squad to do that.
Yeah.
If they get injuries, all right, they're going to struggle. But realistically, I think their league performance shouldn't struggle that much because I don't think they're going to be contending for the title. I think it's going to be top 4,
Top 4.
which I think is enough. They've got enough there to do that.
Yeah.
I think Klopp would try to get out of that Europa League as quickly as possible.
No,
To try and
I think
climb
he's going
out.
to go to win it. I think they'll go to win it.
And I think he's going to...
Because it's best chance of a trophy.
Yeah, for the year.
An actual trophy. Obviously, finishing Champions League, you'll want to do because you won't be out of it. Position.
And you see, for big clubs, it's all about silverware, right? It's not about competing until March.
What did you win?
And then falling off.
What did you win last season again?
That's not what we do.
What did you win last season?
The year rest.
What
That's
did you
the,
win last
the
season?
rest
That's our
period,
year
innit?
rest.
Recovery year.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
All right, we've had enough of your 2 sides now.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
speak on the
move on
real tough part of the division.
Yeah.
So, I unfortunately, for a long time, have been an Everton fan.
Long suffering.
But I'm old enough to remember when they actually were very good and they actually won trophies and were challenging for the
That's
top.
it.
Yeah.
Those are
the
nice
team.
memories.
Yeah.
It was great memories. They have been missing for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I think of all the clubs that have gone into the Premier League, we're the one that's underperformed the most by where we should be and where we are.
Yeah.
But I think most of that's come down to money because we haven't had we've fallen down on our money when it's a time to actually money's come into football. We've fallen down on it. And so we've always just been challenging for 7th or 6th or whatever, 5th. Although we've been there a few times and we should have been in the Champions League a bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, though, let's not talk about that. Let's talk realistic. So where it is realistic, I think if we can get the 2 players, well, we've got Ashley Young, fantastic player.
Yeah.
5 years ago.
So young.
But I think he's got him in as the Cody sort of replacement, as in experienced and knows how to win, has won stuff.
A
So
senior
he's a
voice.
winner.
Wait, has
yeah.
Cody gone back to Wolves?
Yeah, and then he's sold him for 8 million to
He's
Leicester.
gone to Leicester.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think Everton had the option to buy for 4 million, isn't it? But I think they've turned it down, probably because of a bit of wages and everything else, and they were sorting out. And then let him go back, and they've managed to get more money because they've got out of the 4 million. So yeah, that's fine. I have no issue with that because I think we got centre backs. We had too many. They've cut it down a little bit. The one I'm more upset about is losing Yerry Mina because I think he's our best centre back as much as everybody is. Apart from the fact that he was injured all the time.
Yeah.
But as an actual player, I think he was, he's
So
Premier League quality.
where's he gone to?
I think he just signed with Fiorentina.
Oh,
He was a free agent, so they've let him go because he was
run
ending
down
his contract. They haven't
didn't
renewed, but he was on 120 grand a week. So for us, it's a bit too much money.
Yeah.
So then I believe he's just signed or was signing for Fiorentina, which is I think good move in Italian football.
Move
He'd
for
be
him,
good.
yeah.
And he is, I think, a really, really good player. And I think a little bit slower league will probably suit him because it's the physical demands, I think, wear them out in the Premier League. Although physically he's a specimen and he's a fantastic player. So that's gone down, but I think they're okay there. I think they are looking at a centre-back if they can get one in a reasonable amount, but we'll see. But the main problem for Everton, obviously, last year was scoring goals. So let's be honest, they wasn't defending so much.
Odin is available. Odin.
Who?
Rob Odin.
I don't know who that is. Well, we've signed Danjuma, which on loan, which is, I think they already had the deal agreed. I think they would have got him in January on loan anyway, apart from the fact they sacked the manager and not knowing what was going on. He went to Tottenham and didn't really do much apart from score one goal. And then I don't think he really played. So I think they needed him.
Is he a striker?
Well, he's a striker and he can play wing as well, isn't it? So I think they want the
okay.
versatility. They've been trying to get Gnonto from, however you say his name, the Italian guy from Leeds. They're still ongoing, but I think Leeds are just reluctant to sell to him, or they're trying to get more money. They're trying to do a deal. They put a bid in for PSG striker Ekitike. I think is a loan with an option to buy, and he's about 35 or 40 million euros.
Okay.
So there's that. But it looks to be progressing because it's coming in the news now, isn't it? A bit more. And who else have they got? Let me see if we've got anybody in. And there is one more that they've looked at, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
There's that many, you see, for this.
Yeah. What about Gray?
Damari Gray, they looked
Damari
at selling. I think that they've got, the thing with them is they've already agreed a deal, but I think they're just going to keep him till, if they can get like the Leeds guy in or one of the other players in, they'll sell him because that will cover their money. Because I think they're looking at getting about 15 million for him or something, or 12, 15, 17 million or 18 million.
Why would they want to let him go though? Is it like?
I think he wants to play every game, and
couldn't guarantee
Deitch
that.
hasn't used them in every game, so he was more bringing them on and playing them and stuff. I mean, we can't really afford to lose him because he was like 6 goals. I think he was amongst the top scorers, and he can change a game, and he has got that pace and a bit of difference. But I don't think he's a really team player, and I think that's why Leicester let him go. Then he's gone to Germany, and he's come back.
Yeah.
And I think the other reason for having him is that he can. We got him really cheap, so it makes our FFP look great, which is obviously the big problem for Everton in the last few seasons. As much as they can moan about the buying and everything, is FFP is really done us over, because obviously they've been funding the stadium, and in the first part of that, the funding for your stadium goes into your FFP thing until you actually get the spades in the ground, and then you can offset it. Okay. So a lot of this, when they made this much losses, is because they've spent a load of money on the stadium, and it's cost a fortune. It's cost over 100 million just to do the groundworks to fill in the dock, which has made the stadium that much more expensive. So I think these experts and stuff who give all their finance numbers are a little bit over like egging it because they don't really like Everton. They're not liked by anybody. Go for the sympathy vote.
Of course.
The bias of the clubs.
Had to get it in.
And I think FFP is a joke. I think it's a really, really stupid thing, and it shouldn't be there. I think if you allow clubs to spend, the clubs should be allowed to spend whatever money they want and the owner wants to put in, as long as it doesn't threaten the survival of the club.
Yeah.
So if they write off the money that they put in,
If they can offset it,
if they write it off and go, well, yeah, it's the club's money. I'm putting 100 million in here. It's the club's. I'm not loaning it. I'm not doing it. Yeah, we can have a loan in if they can afford to pay it back. But if all doesn't work out, I'll write it. It just gets written off, and it's my money gone. Then I don't think there should be any restriction on what you can spend. Because the problem is there's only so many players and you can only buy so many. And as long as they should have more of a restriction on how many players you can actually hold. Because the likes of Chelsea and co used to have huge squads, and they've got these players just not even in the squad, just in there, technically in the squad, but not in the players that can play. I think that's what should be restricted. And then there's enough good players for every team to have. And then I think also it would balance out more because every team in the Premier League would have billionaire, trillionaire owners or whatever. Not trillionaire, but high billionaires, like most of them have. And they could invest in the club if they want to. And it balances the playing field more than the way this has worked out, which is, it basically makes it impossible for smaller clubs to catch up.
That's a problem, isn't it? I feel like it was introduced to keep the smaller guys out of the VIP
Out of the-
area.
yeah.
That's all it is.
Out of the Champions League, basically.
Yeah.
And the Champions League immediately gives you 100 million more,
That's right.
which makes it impossible for the other clubs, if you're not in the Champions League,
Yeah.
to catch up. I mean, Newcastle have got lucky because how many clubs didn't play as well? They said Chelsea were rubbish, Tottenham were rubbish. All the clubs were there. Liverpool were outside of it. And it's how... If they were as good as normal, Newcastle don't get there.
Been nowhere near it. No.
And they've also got lucky because Ashley didn't spend, so they had a big budget saved up.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
But the interesting thing is going to be this season, because how well they do now, then, and if they don't do as well, which I think they're going to find hard because they're not a typical European team. They've got players who haven't played there, so they're going to have that issue, like I think Ola you said before, and it's going to go down. So I think those rules really, if they want a fair sport, need to be changed. It's not a fair thing. And like, there's still clubs getting around it. Like Barcelona have got no money. They're in debt and everything else.
Yeah.
And they've still managed to sign Lewandowski and co and everybody else. So how can they work? All right, they've sold their soul, but go.
No, I was going to say, with certain teams, it's sort of, you think, how have they got around the rules? You know?
Well, Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's handing out 8-year
8
contracts.
years contracts.
But
Yeah,
again,
it's
it's
gonna
just-
to spread the fee.
Yeah.
And they've sold a load
it's
of
just
players
great.
this year, isn't it, to balance the books? But
Yeah.
they've already got the players. So if you haven't got it, like, right, Everton was still okay to a point because we did have players and we were balancing the books and selling them. But like, you shouldn't have to sell them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know like Brighton and stuff, but you know, Everton aren't Brighton. No disrespect to Brighton, fantastic. But if you look at history, it's not even comparable.
No, of course.
It's not even the same, you know.
Yeah.
And I think Man City have only just about caught up to how many league titles Everton have won.
Yeah.
And how many have they won in a row? 5 or 6 against your teams.
And he spends billions, you know.
And you need to. I worked it out and said if you need a club to spend up, like Everton was spending 100 million or 60, 70, 80 million, it's not enough. You need to spend 200 million pounds for about 3-4 seasons in a row to build a team that's going to challenge like Man City.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And they need to make that so it's possible. So if owners do come in, they can wipe that and get it on with it and invest it. Because you can't invest in a stadium. Like our stadium's more than $500 million. Well, they're saying now 760 million.
Yeah.
Although the official figure's just over 500 million.
Yeah. And I feel like when you move stadiums, I mean, you guys also went through the same thing when you went to the Emirates.
Yeah.
I mean, for those years until now, you've started to spend proper money. How many years later?
But this is the thing. Yeah, we are under a management that literally understand. Like, I feel like that's where our Arsenal Football Club the most during those periods. Yeah, he understand and it did not roll out the team, the club. That right, we're not spent. It's just listen. We've just built. He had to sell.
Well, he built the club, really,
all these
in
players,
Arsenal.
all these like invincible. It just everybody was sold. The team was dismantled and then start again. And during that transition period, we suffered.
Well, I think it was a bit disrespectful for him because if you at the end I think he stayed a bit too long as well. But I think it was disrespectful to him considering he's built that club.
Yeah,
because he's allowed them go from the normal turnover to the 400 million and get that stadium where they make 3 million a game or 4 million a game plus. The stadium's given them that opportunity to catch up because they've got your 400 million plus turnover.
Yeah.
And also from
You can't compete if you haven't.
2006 from when you moved in to when you went, it kept you in that top 4.
Yeah, but
which revenue as well.
Well, that's it's 100 million from the Champions League and it keeps you going.
This is the thing, that football fans, we all thrive on winning success.
Of course, yeah.
Simple. No matter, even if you sold his soul to the devil to get us all this fancy stuff, if it's not winning, we want him out. That is exactly what happened in the end.
Well, if I pick up on your point from Everton fans, there's two things. One, they all slag off the board. But if you actually look at it, there's no other team in the Premier League has managed to get like this type of stadium we're getting for build-off. It's like the only time it's been done is Arsenal before, and Tottenham have managed to do it.
Yeah.
And it's transformed both of those clubs.
Yeah.
Now, Everton's ones, the owner's paying out of his own pocket. We haven't got, if we didn't have, we're not loaning the money and the things, and they keep disrespecting him. But the man's put in like 700 million out of his own pocket into a club.
Yeah.
That we love. He's only just joined, isn't it? You know, that everybody else has grown up with.
Yeah.
And they just keep disrespecting him. And I think it's really, we haven't succeeded where we want to, and that's painful.
Yeah.
But we've been bad since 1985. All right, we won a league title in 1987 and we won the FA Cup in 95, but we've never been good since 85 because of some certain club getting us chucked out of Europe. But we've been in decline since then. We had a fantastic team then.
Yeah.
And getting kicked out of Europe cost us European Champions Leagues, basically, or the European Cup as it was called.
For the 5 years.
And if we won that, we're one of those clubs, like Liverpool, we would have been Champions League royalty with 2 or 3 titles. You're in that game and in the club.
Yeah, they've been a legacy sort of.
And you'd have gone into the Premier League having won it.
Yeah.
2-3 times. And I think it wouldn't be Hughes who were affected, or Arsenal or Liverpool. I think it would have been Man United, because they wouldn't have gone in. I think Ferguson would have got fired before he gets that chance to build that legacy.
That's true.
And then it's the whole history of that thing is different.
It would have been changed, don't they?
The trickle down.
Because their big thing, they go on about it, or they build. What did he do? He got into. They got successful just at the right time as money came into football.
That's it.
And they've got all that money's accumulated to make them into this size of club.
And they just,
Because if you actually look at their wins up to before the Premier League started, they had less league titles than Everton by 3 league titles. They had less league titles than Arsenal by more than 3, about 4 or 5.
So they've been on.
And they were
7.
way behind Liverpool, but we won't mention that.
Yeah.
Won't go too far into that.
We were stuck on 18 for 30 years, so
Yeah. And I think it's money on that, isn't it? And they've got to give every club a fair chance to catch up. So, like, if Newcastle, I have no issue with them getting the money. I hope they do succeed.
Exactly.
But it's going to get difficult because they're going to hit the buffers on FFP fairly soon. Unless they get really deep in the Champions League, which they'll add that 80, 90 million plus.
And they'll qualify again for next year.
And qualify again. And are they going to win it? Very unlikely. That's no disrespect. Just how good other clubs are.
No.
And then are you going to be in the top 4 again if all the other clubs pull their socks up? That's going to be much harder than it was this year.
Probably not, no. Yeah.
And teams also, the other thing is the second season, teams work you out. They know how you're going to play. Now you know the tactics, whereas before they didn't. And a couple of theirs, I think they've had a few players who've just basically overachieved, like Almiron and co, who were there, and he's managed to get the best out of him. Are you going to get that 10, 11, 12 goals out of him again? I don't know. It gets much more difficult. We've been through it, we know. We have those good seasons, and then the next season is awful because you try and get into something and it doesn't work.
But I think with Everton, I think you guys are going to be fine. The main thing is really stay in a division until you move into a new ground.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't think
disaster if they get relegated.
I think if Calvert-Lewin is fully fit, I think we'll be in the top half or the bottom half. Can I say it like that? The top of the bottom half. I think we'll be in about the 11th, 12th position, and we won't be. I think Sean Dyche is good enough that we shouldn't be threatened with, unless we get silly injuries, and or if Calvert-Lewin goes out. And or if they can get 1 or 2 of these transfers over the line. Personally, I think we need a good centre-back who's quick, like a Gabriel, which we were going to buy until the COVID started, and that's how you ended up with them. Or one of those who's quick, who can play football as well.
Did I say Odin is available?
Akron's and Stanley.
We only want 4 million for him.
And the forwards, if they can get the 2 that they're looking at, if they can get the winger, and if they can get like a TK or somebody else, a couple more bodies through the door, however they get them through, loads, whatever, we don't care how they
bring the bodies.
as long as they get them through.
I mean, I think,
and or if they keep hold of Damari Gray, because I think there's only point of selling them, as you've asked, is if we get somebody else. If we get him else, I think that's the money to pay for them, and it balances our books and everything else. Then it's fine. But without getting that, you would hope they've learned a lesson of not getting him out there, because he's 6 goals. Even if he's a reasonable, he will score goals. He will get it. He's got I think he's got a fantastic one against Man City, or you guys,
as well.
and got us points. So he's points on the board and his goals, which makes a huge difference.
I think you guys are going to be okay, because as I said, the main objective really is to remain in the Prem. It's going to be hard watch. It's one of them teams where 0-0, or you win 1-0, or you get beat 1-0. It's one of them. But as long as you stay in the league, that's what he's.
I don't think anybody cares. I think most fans will be realistic. If we stay in the league, if we don't get threatened with relegation, I think that's a good season.
Exactly.
And I hate to say that, because our logo motto does not stand to that, but I think it is, because we're just transitioning into the stadium, and I don't think it's not that they haven't got money, but I don't think they can spend enough until. But the other thing is, it's 2 or 3 seasons. Then by the time we get into next season, where we've got out to that FFP dump, we won't be losing money, because obviously we've sold Richarlison, which balanced one set. They've sold Gordon after that, and Moise Keane, which is about another 70 million. And that's why I don't think we're that big on. We have to sell this year. We will, if they can squeeze it out. I think we'll be. We're not going to win anything, but we'll be there. We'll be. But it's been since 1995 since we won something. So as long as we're comfortable,
as long as you're,
as long as our blood pressure's okay, we're okay. I don't have the stress of the last 2 years.
Every defeat doesn't turn into relegation.
That's it. As long as you're around 11 to 14, that's like your sweet spot, I think.
Yeah,
you stay there, you'll be fine. But
if you stay around mid-table, I'm happy. If you get above, top
10.
I mean,
If we get into the top 10, happy days.
Yeah, that'll be a good season.
Yeah.
Great. I think anything, we're not going to challenge for Europe. We're not good enough for squad.
No.
I don't think we've got enough squad depth
Yeah.
on all of them. Calvert-Lewin fires and they get 20 plus goals, then I think we're in the top 10. Even then, I think we're not going to go much past that. But I think Sean Dyche is a better manager than most people think. I think he's a bit more than just a fighter. And I think he's got that little bit of grit in him to show people that it is there. He's got the hunger.
Yeah.
He's not one of the managers where they've not got it. And he understands how to build that. And he's, if you look at the performance of Dwight McNeil before he came and after he came,
true.
Dwight McNeil's one of those who's basically pulled up his socks and saved us. His performance was fantastic. And to be honest, I didn't think that was in there. I thought he was okay. I was a bit, why did we buy him? But I thought, young player, he's okay. He's got a bit of skill in his left foot. But he raised his game.
How old is he?
He's only 22, 21, 22.
Was he that young? Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
I didn't, because he's been at Burnley for
been
ages.
around for a while,
I was like, he's been around for 3-4 years, and then it showed the age, and I was like, what the hell? What have we done here? Why have we wasted 18, 19 million? And they're like, but he's only 20 or 21 when we bought him, and I was like,
My God.
oh, okay, I take my words back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's not really much more to say about Everton. That's it. We got a shiny new stadium. Did I tell you about that? But let's forget about the football. We got a shiny new stadium, and it looks amazing.
Yeah. On the docks. You know what I mean?
On the docks, on the Royal Blue Mersey.
That's it.
Oh, did I mention that? Who built Anfield, by the way?
Oh,
that was Everton. Who built Goodison? That was so. The 3 stadiums were all built by Everton.
Just a little fun fact.
Fun fact. Just sort of mention that. There's a lot of people who don't know that. Yeah. And to be honest, there's a lot of people who haven't seen the. If you haven't seen the stadium, you need to see it. That is.
I haven't.
No, it's looking good. It's
well, if you look at all the news that goes around about Everton, if you looked at the stadium being built, that does not tie up. So I think there's got to be some positivity, and then it's an immensely. Best is hard to describe, but it's going to be the most iconic in the Premier League stadium.
Location, it's meant to be state of the art.
The shape is iconic, because Tottenham's is brilliant. Tottenham's is the best stadium in the Premier League in terms of because of the modernity. It's the most modern. It's got all the facilities and all the bits and pieces. But if you actually see like the drone shots and stuff, it sort of blends into the background. It doesn't. It's not iconic, standout stadium.
Yeah.
Everton's where it is, and when you have the TV cameras and they show the drone shots, it just looks.
It's probably going to rival.
I'm not saying that to be biased. It just is amazingly iconic. I think it will be the most iconic until somebody else does something.
Yeah, in England. Because people now talk about
one of the most in Europe. I think it's one of the most iconic.
Allianz, maybe. The Bayern Munich stadium. That's quite. It's quite.
No,
iconic.
I think they're better stadiums, because if you're going to go where it is, once Real fixed theirs, then the Bernabeu is.
Bernabeu.
That's
for me personally, I still
even
think
New Camp.
And then the new camp, the new camp is going to be.
I mean, that's the cathedral for me.
Well, I think both of them are the cathedrals of football.
Yeah.
The new camp's going to be the biggest.
Actually, did San Siro?
Because the Bernabeu's only gone up by it's gone up or down by 1 seat.
Oh, has I?
But the roof and the structure of it, the things is amazing. It's going to have that like Allianz Arena type with the lights and all the stuff and the things, the screens.
Yeah.
The Bernabeu, the new camp, once they do it, will be immense. They're the 2 cathedrals. So no, we're not competing with them. I still think the San Siro is iconic. But they're going to knock that down. So once that's knocked down, then I think Bromley Moordock has a chance of being like...
We've had to do it back up.
I like the fact that it's like... it's that iconicness. It's not going to be the biggest. I mean, if it was me, I'd have built it 62,888. So it'd be like the second biggest. It'd be bigger than yours, and everybody else's. I'd do that because Liverpool did a tit for tat, waited for us to announce the capacity, and then started doing up the Anfield Road end, just so they can say we have the biggest stadium of 61,000 or whatever it is. Everton really need to go and do that, because it's big enough. It's like twice the size of Goodison. I reckon they could do the 62,888.
Just say we're the biggest on Merseyside.
Yeah. It's setting a marker, isn't it? To say we're here.
We're coming. Yeah.
We're coming up. So I hope they do somewhere out of that magically. Because Tottenham's was only meant to be 54, 55, and then they immediately got to 60-odd thousand. Because once they do the planning, once you get the big planning, then it's little planning to get little increases. I think the most we can have is about 62,000 anyway, because not because of the way it is, but I think because of the transport. You can't go above because the roads and links, isn't it? Because of that, the infrastructure's not good enough to go more. But I hope they do a bit of sneakiness and get it there, or at least have a plan to get it. That would be nice, because I think they could fill 60,000, not a problem.
Speaking of stadiums, I'm so glad that we didn't have to move sites, because your home's your home. So if you guys could have done that where you are,
Mate,
that would have
Anfield's
been
our
ideal.
home, old home. We gave it to you guys.
That's a fair
Goodison's our home.
You said that they got the keys.
I know.
They might nick over there, use the loo.
They're the landlords.
We're the originals.
Yeah,
we were
exactly.
there first. No, I think what they've done with Anfield is pretty spectacular.
Special. I didn't think it was possible.
I have been in the main stand. I have to admit,
Have
and
you?
been in the things. And when you go up to it, you think, this is, it makes Goodison look like it should dump.
Because Anfield years ago, it was starting to look so far behind Everton. When we were still 45,000, it looked like an old ground. So what they've done now
the
is...
park stand at Everton is all right, but it's too small. And the rest of them, the main stand and the other stands have really been...
Yeah.
Like, they have the name, but the name was... We needed a new stadium like 35 years ago, really.
Bloody hell. You talk about a traditional ground, Goodson's so old.
But I think they've stretched out on what the fans do. But you got to think this: we're fighting relegation. We get 40,000 every time. We're sold out in season tickets,
true.
and we've been like, pardon my French, but we've been crap.
Yeah.
We've been crap for a long, long time. The only hope we had was when Ancelotti came, because then you got, wait a minute, what's this Champions League winning manager doing here?
What's he doing?
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
what? And we were good. I think if we hadn't got COVID, COVID, we'd have done what Newcastle have done. We'd have sneaked in fourth place in the Champions League, or at least fifth place and got into Europa.
Yeah.
And then with his name, you would have got the players.
Yeah.
And it's just and the thing is, the funny thing is, when we've actually had fans in the stadium and Ancelotti's been at home, we've never lost to anybody. So
Isn't Ancelotti the first person to in a long time not beat Liverpool, but Liverpool didn't beat home and away?
well, no, should I give you it now that you've set it up for me?
Yeah.
It's the first time we won at Anfield in 22 years.
Yeah.
And it was the first time we won at Emirates for like about
Was it?
14, 15 years.
Yeah.
So,
Although,
Under him,
I'll caveat it by saying that it was in front of no fans, right? It was.
but you won your Premier League in front of no fans.
Oh, let's not.
yeah.
Let's
that
not
caveat doesn't really count.
Your
Come on.
COVID trophy.
Come on.
Well, no, but I think that the thing is, it was equal for everybody. But we won 11 away games, which is
you
amazing.
did.
But we lost too many at Goodison because we didn't have the fans, so we balanced it out.
Yeah.
But if you actually look at how we played and what we were under him, it was a way.
it was.
That's the best we've been. He's the best manager we've ever had, and that includes the ones we've won stuff with.
Oh, really?
In my opinion, he's the best manager.
Oh, wow.
I think he's the best manager of all time, and I think he's the best manager that Everton have ever
I
had.
think so as well.
Really? For Everton? That's high praise.
Not for Everton, but the best manager that we've ever had.
Football.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Howard
It's like a
Kendall's,
name.
manager
Howard
of all
Kendall's the
time.
most successful
Okay.
manager we've ever had, and we've had Harry Catterick, who've both won two titles
Yeah,
each
of
in an
course,
FA
yeah.
Cup, and they've been in European competition
Yeah.
and everything else. But I think in actual the quality of the manager, I think
Okay. No, yeah, of
Ancelotti's the
course.
best manager, and
Hands
he's
down.
easily the best manager we've had in the Premier League.
Hands down. Yeah.
The only other one I would say was good there was Joe Royal, because he actually won us the FA Cup. He's the only one who's won us anything.
Yeah.
David Moyes was great at holding us over, but it was more keeping us there rather than and I think he did, no disrespect, I think he did
Yeah.
a great job.
I think he did,
He
yeah.
got us out of the mire when we were in this sort of situation and taking us. So
Yeah, yeah.
hopefully Sean Dyche can do the same thing.
Yeah. Because I remember Moyes nearly went down in his first year. If I remember, like around 2002.
Well, he came in when we
2003.
were already in a relegation battle,
Yeah, yeah.
and then he won the first couple of games, didn't he?
And then you escaped just.
we escaped by
by
a bit,
skin
and then
and teeth.
he slowly built it up, and then we weren't really threatened with relegation,
Yeah, yeah.
other than when we've had sold players. And the only other time we've had was Martinez. We had a good one because we had Lukaku,
Yeah.
and then we sold him and never really replaced him.
Do you know what? I always remember the Villarreal playoff for the Champions League. I felt so sorry for his.
We got robbed.
It was so bad. Wasn't
That Kalina is supposed to be the best referee in the world.
Riquelme,
And
yeah.
normally I loved him, and
Yeah.
we got robbed. No, but we should have had our third goal, and they disallowed it, and then I think it just knocked the stuffing out. It should have been 3-2 to Everton, and we should have
Yeah.
got through in the playoff.
And funny
didn't
thing was, the irony, you didn't get top, well, you got top four, but you didn't qualify straight away because we won it, I think.
we? Yeah, yeah.
It's quite
Just
funny.
throwing that in, innit? Throwing that in.
It was quite-
They
yeah.
changed the rule after that year, didn't they? It should have been
Yeah,
allowed.
yeah.
But we should have been in the Premier League, because we should have been in the Champions League, because you should have the 4 and it should have been 5. And they made that rule up just to keep them out. And I think if we'd have got that in with Moyes, they'd have got that money. Then he would have got him actually to get in somewhere.
Yeah.
He probably would have established them there.
To be fair, though, yours wasn't that bad because when Chelsea won it in 2012, Harry Redknapp had finished 4th. But because Chelsea won it, they just got knocked out completely.
Yeah.
So yours wasn't.
We got a chance.
At least you had the chance, and then you
But,
didn't
but,
take
but
it.
the thing is, they gave him the chance and then knocked him out in the game because they got
Yeah.
Villarreal through when we should have won that game.
Yeah.
It was clear goal, clear everything, and the dodgy referee.
And that year,
like,
Villarreal got to the semi-final as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we gave him a hell of a game. We should have won that game. But
Yeah.
Moyes was unlucky. Moyes was good, but it's there. But so there's not really much to talk about on our side. It's survival. But I think if they stay away from survival and it's actually well established in the top half of the bottom half, we're okay. That would be. I think that's an immense achievement by Sean Dyche.
But then you think going into next season, which he'll keep us up. Do you move into the new ground with Dyche or?
I don't think we're going to move into the new ground
thanks.
in that season. I think because it's actually going to be finished at the end of 2024.
Next season.
So it's
next year.
It's the beginning of...
at the end of this year.
No, the ground's going to be actually finished with all the things at the end of 2024.
Which is next year.
But that's after we start the season because the season starts in August.
So middle of next season, basically.
Yeah.
So they're basically having a debate of whether do we move in halfway or do we actually move in at the beginning of the next season. And I personally think we should move in at the end of the next season, so it'll be in 2025.
So 24-25, okay.
Because then they're not rushing to get things done. They can do, because it's not actually when you finish the build. I think the build actually gets finished on time, but they have to do all the safety tests and all the route tests and the traffic tests and all the things.
A bit similar to what Spurs done when they had to play Wembley.
And that's why it takes that extra bit, and it's like 6 months or 3 months of things.
You can play in Anfield for a bit or something.
It's all ground anyway. So it's
you can go back to your home house and play.
Back to the future.
What you can do is play at Prenton Park.
If they were really neighbourly, they should, for robbing all the trophies we should have won because they shouldn't even exist. They should, we gave them this fantastic ground. They should let us play there just
for free as well.
You can play at Tranmere. There's a ground around here somewhere.
We'll phone Pep and go, look, lad, can we borrow the ground from it? We'll get more fans in than you do. Oh, we haven't got a Man City fan. I'd love to say that to him.
I know.
We'll fill the Etihad. Don't worry. I know you have trouble, but even though we're in relegation battle, we'll still fill it. 60,000 not a problem. Okay, shall we call it a day there? Then we can.
That was a great conversation. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Thoroughly.
Thank you very much, both of you, and I'm sure you'll be back for when
hopefully this is
when we get going, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And but we got to say congratulations to Arsenal because they have won a trophy.
Yes.
So all that is, sorry we missed that out, but
you know what? Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. First of many.
We hope so.
Community Shield. By the way, we won that last year. So you're talking about what we won last year. We won now. Right. If it's a trophy, we won that last year.
It's not a trophy, by the way.
So,
it's a shield.
So I hope you win more trophies. Just so that's not the only one this year. Okay, cool. Yeah. Thanks very much.
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Till next time.